Good afternoon, welcome into North Harbour Stadium. If you were with us earlier for the Kate Shepherd Cup Final, welcome back. It's the Chatham Cup Final, 100 years of history in the Chatham Cup. This prestigious, this storied competition has another edition to play out this afternoon at North Harbour Stadium, and it seems appropriate that a team like Christchurch United is here to celebrate that occasion. They are one of the most storied and successful teams in this competition. They're up against Melville United, so it is certainly a southern versus northern clash here this afternoon. Good afternoon, welcome in. My name is Andrew Dewhurst, looking forward to this commentary in nigh on perfect conditions here at North Harbour. A beautiful spring day. Joining me in commentary is former Ferns international Sarah Gibbs. And Sarah, you can argue a case here that Christchurch United, dominant in the Southern League, they probably come into this as favourites.
Yeah, you'd have to assume that. I think Christchurch United this season, everything they touch turns to gold. By contrast, Melville United have had a bit of a tough season in the Northern League. They won't be progressing and competing in the National League Championship phase, so it's all about the Chatham Cup Final today. They are a young side. They've got a number of teenagers in their starting lineup, including a couple of 16-year-olds, which is unusual for a men's match. So they're definitely come in as the underdogs, and they'll be throwing everything at it.
Well, let's have a look at the lineups for this Chatham Cup Final, and we start with Jared Young's side, Melville United. They've never won this competition. They've been close in recent times, hoping they can get over the line. Aaron Scott, the veteran, the former All-White. What a servant he is of Melville United. He captains the side and will look after that central defensive area. Look for Gerson Giraldo, the Colombian, to provide some fireworks up front. And there are some youngsters in there, as mentioned, with Isaac Bates, also a 16-year-old in the side, alongside other teenagers like Rye McLeod. They've got nothing to lose. Well, let's hear from their head coach. I caught up earlier with Jared Young. Well, Jared, welcome into Cup Final Day. You've had the shorter journey of the two teams, and of course you're in your own neck of the woods in terms of your club football week in, week out. Does that make it easier for your boys today? Yeah,
it's the same for all the game days, so yeah, a lot easier than Christchurch, obviously. So
there is the occasion to deal with as well as a football match, and perhaps has there been any talk of Aaron and possibly last game, and if there has been, how do you manage that?
Not in the players, just because we want him to play one more season, hopefully, if he's listening. But no, we're good. It's more of a club thing, so he's focused and ready, and everybody just wants to get a win in the game.
How do you get that win? What does Melville have to do and do well today?
We have to press well. We're an aggressive young team, so we have to get the nerves out in the first 15 minutes, but just work together and do the same as what we've been doing in our cup run.
And a sound opening 10 or 15 minutes, does that help you? Have you spoken about that first segment of the game?
Yeah, we've spoken about the first 15, just the nerves and the stadium and the noise, and it's just different. So, but we've got some experienced players. We're lucky. 2019, when we unfortunately lost, we have 3 of those players in here. So we've got a bit of experience in these situations, which is helping for everybody.
Enjoy it and good luck.
Cool. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Jared Young, young by name, young by nature. He is still in his 20s, head coach of the Melville United side in his first year in the role. So good luck to Jared Young and the Melville side as they take on a Christchurch United team that just wins for fun. In the Southern League, 1-16, drawn 1, lost 1. So winning is very much a habit for Paul Eiffel's side, of course, the former Phoenix star. Key players, look for Scott Morris, currently the under-23s, the goalkeeper. He'll be strong for them at the back. Sam Phillip is a converted centre-back and has been scoring plenty of goals up front, whilst Owen Stokes, the former Leeds player, is a very technical player and also gets plenty of goals out of midfield. Just earlier, I also caught up with their head coach, Paul Eiffel. Paul, a club with huge history in this competition. It's been a little while though. Your group, are they aware of that history?
Yeah, I think so. It's been spoken about over the last couple of weeks. I think once we got the semi-final out of the way, then people were quick to make us realise, what it meant to the city and what it meant to the club. So we're well aware of that. The boys are well aware of it. They're ready.
And full strength, have you got everyone on deck that you wanted?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of niggles, but I think at this stage of the season, that's always the way. I'm sure Melville will be the same, but we go in pretty fresh.
not that easy to do some preparation, not a lot of video around. What are you expecting from Melville?
Yeah, look, we got a bit of video, so we've had a little look at them. It's hard to know because over the last couple of weeks, both of us have changed our systems, changed our teams a little bit. There's people that are, potentially going to be suspended for the final, so you want to leave them out. So both teams have been doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So hard to know, but I think we're well prepared and I think we'll be ready.
And what about Christchurch United? What do you bring?
Yeah, look, I think we bring pace up top. I think we're decent on the counter. We'll try and play a high tempo. Look, it's a final. I'm not going to tell you we're going to be the prettiest. If we can be pretty great, but it's about lifting the cup at the end of the day.
And nice day for it. Good luck.
Oh, look, couldn't ask for any more. Yeah, thank you.
Paul Eiffel, and I can tell you that off camera, Sarah, I did throw one more question at him and said, did you think about lacing the boots up? Because he is still playing, he is still off the bench every now and then, and his response was, I can't be that guy. So he's going to leave it to his players, the younger brigade. What a player, though, and great to see Paul Eiffel very much making his home in New Zealand, of course, and giving back in the coaching ranks and doing such a great job with Christchurch United. They've had over 20 clean sheets. There'll be a lot of talk about their goal scoring ability, but over 20 clean sheets this year, so they can play well at both ends of the park. And we've already seen a most entertaining Kate Shepherd Cup Women's Final. Let's hope for more in the Chatham Cup Final. Nick Waldron leads the officials and the two teams out. A proud moment for Aaron Scott of Melville. He's played at all levels of the game. He will be so relaxed. Of course, represented his country and has played professionally, but closest to his heart is wearing the colours that he's proudly striding out onto North Harbour Stadium in today, the colours of Melville United. Is this his last game? Jared Young says they want to convince him to go round again. There's some talk, though, that Aaron Scott might be hanging up the boots at the end of this afternoon.
What a fairy tale ending that would be for Aaron Scott and Melville United.
Yeah, 20 years with the club, and a lovely, lovely article written out of Melville United previewing this final and talking about Aaron, and that about the worst thing you can say about him, and trust me, this is not from me, okay, this is from the article, is that don't ask him to get up at karaoke, okay? Now, if that's all you can find about a guy, then he's just such a wonderful servant of the game and of this club, and a lovely, lovely human being. So plenty for the Melville boys, you would think, to play for this afternoon for their skipper. It's, they're much changed. They've had a lot of turnover of players following last season, so it's a relatively youthful group. It's a team that has a number of new faces. Sarah, you mentioned at the end of their campaign, they're not going to go and play National League like Christchurch, so this is don't come Monday kind of territory for them, where they can let their hair down tonight at the end of the season. Does that lead to a bit of a nothing to lose attitude, do you think?
Yeah, I think it probably does. I think they really do have nothing to lose. They come into this game as firm underdogs, I would have thought. So, yeah, expect them to leave nothing out there. They're a young side that could play into their favour as well. They may play with, youthful abandon as long as they can get those nerves out of the way, those early nerves in the first 5 to 10 minutes. It will be a frantic start, no doubt. Finals footy, but everything to play for Melville United in the red strip.
Yeah, and I think the key there is with that approach, they've still got to bring a level of control. And that's where the likes of Scott and Max Tommy and some of the senior players in this side, Eric Panzer at 30 years of age, that's where they need to just be the level heads, because it's one thing to play without fear, but you've still got to play with a level of control. The two skippers, Matt Todd-Smith and Aaron Scott, exchange pleasantries and head over for a final word with their respective teams. So Sam Phillip is quite the story, the number 11, previously a centre-back, and Paul Eiffel's made a bit of a project, and Sam's gone up front and scored over 35 goals in all competitions this year, including 29 in the Southern League. So he is quite the finisher, having moved higher up the park. And it will be Christchurch United, who have won this competition 6 times, level with Eastern Suburbs, only University. Mount Wellington have more with 7, so a win today for Christchurch United in the 100th year of the Chatham Cup will draw them level as the all-time leaders. The last time they won, though, was back in 1991. Melville have never won. They've been close, and they've had heartbreak in recent times. Back in 2019, can they break their duck? It's the Chatham Cup final for 2023. It is Melville in the all-red that's a kick off this match. And Christchurch in their traditional colours, playing from left to right as we watch. The sun will set over the course of the next couple of hours, so it will be a factor here at North Harbour Stadium, especially from this near side for both goalkeepers. Essentially staring straight at the sideline into the setting sun. Asking for handball, not given. And Aaron Scott with a heavy first touch. That one will allow Scott Morris a chance just to ease a few nerves, get a touch and start his match with a goal kick.
They did look to have a bit of a case for handball there. That would have been an interesting start. Free kick in that area just outside the 18-yard box.
Paul Eiffel, was interesting that he's so experienced, of course, as a player and now more recently as a coach, that he said it's a cup final, so I apologise if it's not pretty. And by that, might be a similar approach to Melville in that don't allow yourself to play in the wrong area of the park, make a mistake and get punished. So both teams, Sarah, be interesting if they play a little bit of State Highway 1 sort of stuff, especially in the opening 15 or 20 minutes. Chance now for Lagos to impress the Colombian. He's sent back into midfield. He'll want to get a lot of touches, though. Here now on the ball is Brown. Lagos again busy, as he's wont to be. And back they go. And looking to pinch it and winning the free kick. So there's an example of that don't overplay things. It's not to be too clever in the middle third, and certainly not the defensive third. And pretty quick to pounce on that occasion was the aforementioned Sam Phillip.
Yeah, pretty heavy contact there. I think it was Eric Panzer coming out of the back line. He's a hard man, Eric Panzer. A few red cards this season, I think.
He'll need to manage his temperament. As see a first sighting there of Max Tommy, the 32-year-old. Jared Young, be some nerves there, the first-year coach. What a run it's been to make their way through to the Chatham Cup final. Bit of an air shot, but the recovery and the support was there from Dale. And it's Melville's turn for a goal kick early in this one.
He's one of our 16-year-olds on the ball. Luca Lim plays it forward.
Well, Lagos wriggles away. It's a good ball and a good run here. Lagos goes early. It was a handy ball too. You could see what he was after. Trying to play the ball onto the right boot of Rye McLeod. Enterprising start from Melville.
He is electric, isn't he, Lagos? With the ball at his feet, he is a very dangerous player.
And the Melville fans, you can appreciate, larger in number, as we see there Scott Morris having to be very alert. Good old-fashioned football, get it wide, early ball played into the near post, and the striker knows, just make that lung-busting run, get across in front of the keeper.
Just a touch too close to the keeper, but it was a very dangerous ball, tantalisingly close.
And just interesting as well, I'll get your thoughts on it, Sarah, as we go through the opening 10 or 15 minutes, but certainly looks to me like Aaron Scott's in a holding midfield role. So was listed perhaps to play as a centre-back, but I think he's more advanced.
Yeah, he does appear to be more advanced than Liam Hayes.
So that might be the switch. May not be uncommon for Melville this season, but certainly the information we were given is that Scott would pair up in a back five alongside Dale and Panzer, but he's certainly bringing his experience into midfield. And why not? Aaron Scott can be that defensive rear guard at the base of that midfield for Melville, as Lagos is lively again, but couldn't get there. It is a goal kick for Scott Morris.
Some early territory for Melville.
George Brown, another teenager, 19 years of age, the Melville number 4. So they might be attacking with 4 at the back, Melville. And we'll see perhaps when they're out of possession, as we see Phillip now down this right wing side, just skipping into the area too. Sam Phillip, very quick. First 2 or 3 metres was lightning from Sam Phillip. And Melville had to be alert to the danger as
Luca Lim did very well not to concede a corner there. Coming right over from his right wing onto the left-hand side. Crucial intervention by him.
Switch of play from O'Driscoll into another Irishman in Stokes, and now they switch out onto this right wing side with the skipper, and he puts too much weight on the pass, does Matt Todd-Smith. Paul Eiffel up and prowling the sideline and encouraging early in this one.
He looks full of pace, Sam Phillip, doesn't he? Full of running. He's hungry.
McLeod can't control. O'Driscoll, a little space down this left wing side now for Peterson, and the ball just a little bit too much pace on it, out over the sideline. Does have the makings of, I hate to get involved early in a possible curse of a commentator, but these two teams really look like they're going to throw the proverbial kitchen sink at this. It really does have the makings of a very open, entertaining and end-to-ends cup final.
It certainly has started that way for sure.
Stokes, lovely touch, just turning out, creating some space. Lindsay, one-time all-white Cameron Lindsay, spent a few years as a youth player at Blackburn Rovers. Well travelled in the New Zealand game. Todd Smith turns, looks up, chooses the option over the top for Phillip again. He's got players in support. That was a vital challenge, because had that cross been delivered, there was a real opportunity here for Christchurch, and it is end-to-end stuff. Matt Dale it was with the lunging challenge, and gets a little lucky to win the goal kick as well.
Very good ball from captain Matt Todd-Smith. Over the top, beautifully weighted. And he was the first goal scorer in the semi-final with a cross-come goal, so he can score from back there, and he is a good creator as well.
And that'll be a familiar sight this afternoon, with the towering figure of Jago Godden winning those headed duels. He stands head and shoulders above almost every other player on the park. Christchurch United again down this right wing side, switch of play. Good opportunity here for McLennan, the Scots, to chase. Gets onto that left foot. Cut out and then sent out towards the sideline by Liam Hayes.
He's a physical player, Daniel McLennan. He had a huge tussle with Stephen Hoyle in the semi-final last week versus Eastern Suburbs.
Christchurch starting to settle the better of the two teams, perhaps. Stokes, a lot of their play will go through the Irishman, Owen Stokes. Lindsay. Oh, late challenge here. Hayes says, I got a piece of the ball. I tell you what, he got plenty of the ankle as well. And that's just what we were talking about, Sarah, because that is enthusiasm, it's caution to the wind, but it's also reckless.
We heard that from here, didn't we? In the commentary box. He's up all right, Jago Godden. But this is a
Oh, and we just missed
Just
it.
missed
We saw the who me, sir? Paul Eiffel still pulls the boots on and gets out there and still will bring those mercurial skills of his to any football match he gets involved in. But all he can do is influence things from the sideline here this afternoon. Stokes, does he fancy something from that distance? Goes far post, and Godden is there and bringing it down and over the bar. Good opportunity for McLennan. Had to create some space, the Scottish player, and very nearly hit the target.
Lovely floated ball in from the free kick. I thought it didn't have enough power on it for the header, but clearly a set piece move for the header to just drop it back for McLennan, who nearly collected.
And they will be dangerous at set-piece time with Godden enjoying that height advantage. And it's because of that's all they really needed to do, was just chip it into the area. And a chance now. The skipper down to the byline. Has he got support? They've scored! Is it an own goal? This may well be an own goal. It doesn't matter who scored it, though. It's in the back of the net. And Christchurch United have an early lead. Are they on the way to yet another Chatham Cup?
Dream start from Christchurch United. A very aggressive run by Matt Todd-Smith, the captain, leading from the front. Runs it into the byline, chops it back with pace. And I think it is an Oggy.
Off limb. I think it's the youngster who inadvertently here, it's very cleverly worked to make that space. And all he did was drive it across. He did have a teammate in close attendance, but it is Luca Lim, the 16-year-old, who really couldn't get out of the way. The ball just cannons off the shin and into the back of the net. Christchurch lead it. An early goal in a cup final. Does that change the approach? Does that change the headspace of either side? Scott looking to roll a pass. No one, though, looking to match it with a run. And winning absolutely becomes a habit. And Melville have had a tough season in the Northern Premier League, finishing 9th. And Christchurch United have been winning games for fun, dominating the Southern League, and Melville have a free kick here. But when you're 1-0 down early in a cup final for Melville, they're not used to finding those answers. They're not used to getting out of this situation this season. So a real challenge for the side out of the Waikato.
Yeah, and particularly Luca Lim. He's sort of bowing his head a bit over there. He needs to put that out of his mind. There's nothing he could have done about that, really. It's just wrong place, wrong time. They're still in this. The best thing about an early goal is that you've got plenty of time to recover.
Aaron Scott, the most advanced of the Melville players, and getting himself involved, and questions from some of the very vocal supporters as to whether there was a foul there. Godden now creates a little space for Peterson. Lagos gets back, but Peterson eludes the challenge of the Colombian. Runs at another Melville defender, does well. Good direct attacking play from Peterson. Paul Eiffel will love that from any player. True wing play, just take on the fullback.
Well defended by Luca Lim. Executes a very good tackle. Doesn't concede a corner.
Through the legs of Hayes, cleared away by Melville. And they just reset their defensive line. Lindsay. O'Driscoll. Lapsley. Ball speed is impressive. Stokes. Outside of the foot, trying to curl the pass into the run of McLennan. He looks like a don't argue sort of a player, doesn't he, Sarah? McLennan, he's got a physical presence about him.
Yeah, he looks like a real handful.
They're settling well, Christchurch. They made the journey today, so I'm sure they've planned the day superbly well to make sure that that's well and truly out of the legs. Good challenge made in the penalty area, and it had to be made by Brown. It was threatening again. McLeod with the turn now. Initially made some space, but now is well covered. Lagos always looking to get on the end of through balls. He is a handful, the Colombian, and Christchurch United will keep a wary eye on him throughout the 90 minutes. McLeod, all he could do there was win another throw. 15 minutes played, and it is Christchurch United who lead through an own goal.
Here's Quinton Kapara on the ball. Yet to feature, really.
Yeah,
hasn't had a lot of opportunities.
Awkward cross, just bouncing in front of Morris, but up to the task. Yeah, they've never won at Melville. They've had a bit of heartbreak in 2003, lost to University Mount Wellington, 3-1. Aaron Scott was unable to play. He was still at school and he played for Hamilton Boys High. Chance now for McLennan into the area, brings it down superbly. Wonderful save, Tommy. Put right back into the danger zone though by Hayes. And Melville just at 6s and 7s. Max Tommy to the rescue, and again McLennan. Very mobile, but also very physical. So 2003 they lost, and Aaron Scott, as a schoolboy, he had played for Hamilton Boys High earlier in the competition, so was cup-tied, as we see a replay of Max Tommy being brave and assertive.
Yep, Max Tommy made himself big.
McLeod get out there to block. Grover with the reset. Todd Smith sends it back in, and all day, every day, that's easy for Max Tommy. He played in the other cup final for Melville in 2019. That was a defeat against Napier City Rovers. Gosh, they were in the contest that day, though. They were down to 10 men in the second half, Melville. Aaron Scott, that man again, he equalised late, but then they conceded. Well, they'll have to come from behind here this afternoon, Melville. Good challenge put in there by Riley Grover. Feeling that one shoulder to shoulder was Eric Panzer. Shadows starting to have an effect across the North Harbour Stadium playing surface. The main grandstand, of course, is there on the far side. So the sun will have a lasting effect yet until it does disappear over the West Coast skyline. Scott.
Bit of sustained position here is what Melville need. Been a little bit pinned into their own third of late.
Lapsley with some good defending. Lagos certainly in the early running looks the most likely for Melville.
Although they're paying very close attention to him, aren't they? He's had a lot of contact early on. They know he's a threat.
Scott just gets a toe in there for McLeod. Here he is again, the skipper. Panzer. Struggling to break down this final defensive line of Christchurch United. McLeod had a few touches in the opening 19 minutes. Hayes, poor pass. Should not prove costly though, as Melville get it back again.
Lovely twinkle toes from Aaron Scott there to get out of trouble.
Long ball looking for the run of McLeod. Too much on it, though, and straight into the hands of Scott Morris. Well, that feeling out stage, the nervous opening minutes, pretty much now done and dusted as both teams get through the opening 20. But for Jordan Young's team, they've not been able to negotiate them without damage. He spoke about it. They're 1-0 down, but showing signs here, Sarah, that they are settling into the match, getting into their work.
Yeah, they haven't managed to have much of the ball in these opening stages, and this period just passed. They've had their foot on the ball, stringing some passes together, linking up. It's better from Melville.
Scott starting to get on the ball, starting to conduct the orchestra. Oh, lovely little shimmy there. That was composure from O'Driscoll, either knowing or at best hoping that he had a teammate behind him. Phillip now. Phillip with the pace. Panzer across. Has support now with Lim. Played across goal. McLennan. Good save, Tommy. McLennan was struggling at full length to get any real purchase on that. Max Tommy was there to make the save. Is it McLennan or is it Stokes that had got forward out of midfield?
I think that was Stokes.
The Irishman.
Final touch.
So he really did make a great run into the area. Max Tommy, not for the first time, just made himself big.
Well done, Max Tommy, just smothering that opportunity. But we're not out of danger yet.
Yeah, look for Godden, the obvious threat at the far post. That's who they aim for, and he can't, just loses his footing, backpedaling. Trying to see if he could head that back across goal. He's a giant, isn't he? And when you do have that sort of physical edge, it can be such an advantage, even just with one player. I recall seeing Danny Hay and playing for the All Whites against Australia at Craven Cottage. And Danny was just such a powerful presence. He didn't need to jump. He literally could just wait, get under the ball, and he just could fend off players. And, you know, Godden may have a similar sort of a role to play at set-piece time here for Melville. McLeod, Kapara's back up quickly and is offside.
He must cover some ground, old Godden as well. He plays centre midfield. So he's a big fella, but he can move, he's mobile.
There's a bit of blue in the crowds. There's a lot of red, but there is a bit of blue that have made the journey. What a proud club Christchurch United is. I mentioned those Cup final wins, that great era in the 70s, winning in 72, 74, 75, 76. As they won over the top, just eluding the full stretch Daniel McLennan. And the most recent Cup victory in 89, then 91. But they will forever have a very proud place in New Zealand football history with that great side of the 70s. Paul Eiffel and the club looking to try and perhaps rekindle a few of those heady days. So the match just become a little less hectic, a little less helter-skelter as two teams settle into their work. And Melville certainly not out of their depth here. They are worthy of an invite to this dance.
No, they're showing good composure, aren't they? To just settle into the match, not panic. They don't need to panic, they've got time.
Speaking of panic, that was turned over rather cheaply by Peterson. Thought Stokes had made a run that he had not envisaged Stokes, and possession was turned over. Lagos. Hayes, clever little run into midfield. Allows momentum to stay with Melville.
Christchurch United just content to let Melville have the ball, hanging back.
Kapara with a touch that turned into a pass, which is never a good thing. Lagos, look at him on his own side of halfway, and he's listed as a right winger. And that is great. That is showing a desire to influence the game and get involved, but Christchurch won't mind that. If Lagos is having to head back towards halfway just to get a touch or two, they'll live with that, Christchurch United.
Yep, he can't do much damage from the halfway line, can he?
And on cue, he's just turned it over, the Colombian. And incidentally, alongside Aaron Scott, the only father in the Melville side. Oh, lovely cushioned header from Stokes. He looks a quality player. Phillip, lovely touch. Does he have support? He's tied on the byline. It's very similar to the opening goal. Squares it across. Oh, an open goal. And the post shut the door.
What a let-off for Melville United. Surely it should have been 2.
Oh, my goodness. Jago Godden has missed opening a gift here.
Thread the needle. Open goal from Jago Godden. Didn't he do well? He waited and waited and waited. He threaded that pass through. He found his man, Jago Godden, and he let him down. Thundered into the upright.
He had so much margin. Here they come again. United, Christchurch, Tommy down to save. He's by far the busier of the two keepers. Paul Eiffel is enjoying this. An afternoon in the Auckland sunshine. Hayes almost selling his 16-year-old fullback short there. McLennan making a nuisance of himself, followed through a little bit there. Nick Waldron was happy. McLennan back to the man that should have put his name on the score sheet. He seemed to do everything right, Sarah. He stayed calm, he side foot, hit it with pace, and it just, he had so much more margin to play with. He did not need to go anywhere near that post.
Wow, he'll be as gutted as anyone, I'm sure. But yes, he did do, he held his run.
McLennan, has he drawn the foul here? He has. This is clever. This is clever. And Christchurch United have a number of players here, and I've not seen much of them this season. Obviously, they're playing in the Southern League, and in Phillips, very quick, Stokes, very clever, and this fella, very annoying, if you're a defender.
Yeah, and he's niggly. He's aggressive. He'll run at you. And he's cunning.
Oh, absolutely. He's absolutely drawn the challenge in here and looked to wriggle on the turn and just suck the defender into diving in a little bit here. Now, this certainly is in shooting range. The earlier free kick was a little further out. Who fancies this? There's a free kick committee. McLennan's not part of it.
There's a decent wall. Looks like a 5-man wall, is it?
So Stokes is involved, the number 10. The skipper's there as well, Matt Todd-Smith. Step over, Stokes with a turn from the training paddock, and they, a little too elaborate, maybe overplayed it. And just off camera, he's continuing there. Now you can see Stokes. I don't think that went according to the script that he'd been given.
Good charging block from Liam Hayes, and they get off the hook there. Melville United. They must be the one to score next. They've had a get out of jail free card there.
McLeod takes it off Godden, but they've got it back again. McLennan looks up, tries to play the $1 million pass when he didn't need to spend quite so much money as Lagos now, 10 on 10, asking Stokes to do some defensive tracking, and he does it willingly and successfully. Lim, teenager who has to carry the burden of the own goal. Switch of play back to Lim. Christchurch well organised. You don't keep 20-odd clean sheets without having good organisation. Panzer, switch of play, one for Lagos to chase, but they're going to get it eventually. A lovely little flick and turn from Lagos. They've got to be alert, goes into the area, goes down. No whistle in either direction, because there could have been a free kick for Melville, and if there was, it would have been a penalty, or Christchurch could have earned a free kick. Phillip now one-on-one with Panzer. He'll fancy this in terms of pace. Oh, he's gone past him. Panzer just puts out a lazy boot and concedes the free kick.
Lovely little dink here, and ooh, nothing in there.
No, was there contact? And if there was it enough? Nick Waldron said no. Jared Young was hoping that was a lifeline back into the match. And meanwhile, they've got to concentrate, because at the other end of the park, 2 passes later, they concede a free kick, Melville.
He's not a large man as Lagos. He could be, you know, in his gamesmanship to draw fouls in those situations. But Nick Waldron was having none of it.
Goodness me, that is close to another own goal, you know. That's just shanked off the boot of Dale, I think it is, the Melville number 6.
And another corner in Christchurch United's favour.
So this is what I spoke about earlier. Max Tommy is having to shade his eyes. All these players are looking directly into the setting sun. They curl out. Max Tommy can't get there. Just drifting over the keeper. Stokes will keep this in play. Trying to find some wriggle room for the cross and can't do so. And just to rub salt into the wound, the youngster has won the throw.
Despite the fact that the own goal will go down as Luca Lim's, he's doing a lot of defensive work on the right-hand flank. He's doing very well, holding his own, the 16-year-old.
Lagos infields to Bates. He tries to find McLeod. They look to have composure right across the park. McLennan on the end of the O'Driscoll through ball. And an early cross looking for Phillip. Well drilled, well organised, aren't they, Sarah? They look to be a team that knows their strengths and weaknesses, and importantly, they're very much in tune with each other.
Yeah, and they really are in complete control of this match at this point. And the pace of this game has just dialed right down, hasn't it?
Yeah, the initial burst, things have calmed down somewhat. And that one eluding Max Tommy, but, well, in fact, he must have got a fingertip on it. It's another corner, and this will be more challenging again, looking into the sun.
The last couple of corners have just had a little too much depth on them, particularly a corner from this side that's drilled right into the mixer, especially with that sun. Just see what happens in there.
They go short. Todd Smith, great ball in, needed flicking on, and it was Dale who cleared the danger, but at the expense of another corner. The pressure building here from United.
The third corner in a row, is it?
Back to back to back. Near post this time. Oh, they've scored again. Far post. And Godden has made up for the earlier mistake, and he scored the more difficult chance. Melville could not clear the danger. The corner was allowed to make its way all the way through to the far post. And somehow, Jago Godden just puts a right boot out. 2-0, Christchurch United.
Here comes the corner. Little flick on near post by a Melville player. It looks like falls kindly to Godden. Just has to hit him.
Well, I wonder, I don't know if we get another angle. I wonder if that's come off a Melville player again. At first look, and the celebration from Godden suggested he'd got a foot on it. But that may well have come off George Brown. Regardless, again, it doesn't matter who. All that matters is how, and it's hit the back of the net. 2-0 Christchurch United.
It's just that sustained pressure, isn't it? Third corner in a row.
We may have to wait until halftime to get the official word from referee Nick Waldron. But if that is indeed a last touch off Brown, how cruel. Both fullbacks, if not having conceded own goals, certainly involved. One own goal from Lim and the possibility of another there for Brown. Stokes goes down too easily. Waldron not having anything of it.
He's a robust competitor, old Liam Hayes, isn't he?
Yeah, he and Aaron Scott, the idea, I'm sure, is to provide, first and foremost, a defensive focus at the base of that Melville midfield. But they're going to have to change that approach. They're going to have a plan B, if not a plan C, at 2-0 down. They came in as underdogs. They are very much now second favourites here in this Chatham Cup final. Let's have another look and see if we can... Does he get the right foot on it? I'm changing my mind with every look, Sarah. What do you reckon? I think on that occasion, maybe he does get that right foot around the defender.
This is...
No.
No, you are right.
So we change it again, you see. That is incredible. 2 own goals. Both fullbacks have scored and not in the right way here for Melville. Cruel, cruel luck for the Waikato team.
Yeah, the ball did change direction mid-flight. There was a touch on that, the near post. So to George Brown's defence, wasn't expecting it to come at him at that angle.
No, you can make a case for both of them that there's very little that either player could do other than, you know, maybe just to change your body position. He was facing the goal.
That's true.
You know, can he just turn his right shoulder and somehow get his back to goal so that if there is a deflection, he at least tries to propel it away from the goal. But Christchurch United in complete control. Godden can't get there. There again, though, is that tactic of looking for the big midfielder on the end of the set pieces. And they came in with an attitude of nothing to lose and throwing everything at this final. First focus right now for Melville is to get to half-time without any further damage and then just regroup and rip that kitchen sink off the wall in the dressing room and bring it out. Just throw everything at Christchurch in the second half.
And 5 minutes to survive until then. They'll be happy to get to the sheds, I suspect.
Morris, not the greatest of clearances, but Stokes makes it a decent pass. Grover. McLennan. Strong, good old-fashioned centre-forward play. Beautiful pass, bringing a midfielder into the fray. Deflected, surely not. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Panza just about joined the own goal party. It's another corner for Christchurch.
Here we see that lovely chest control by Daniel McLennan. And beautiful ball, just threads it through to his captain, Matt Todd-Smith, who unleashes. And goodness me, for a second, the angle was unclear. We thought perhaps it was a third own goal.
Tommy punches not that effectively. And the ball stays in play. Melville, not sure they've got anything on the counter here. And scrambling across was McLennan. Chasing everything down defensively. He's a great target man.
He's sort of a bit of an old school striker, isn't he? Loves it with his back to goal.
Well, this is a poor turnover though. Lagos. And a little bit more in hope than with good execution. Lagos there, just trying to drive a shot through the legs of a defender. And for once, McLennan has possession stolen away from him.
He wanted it much earlier. He gave his young teammate Riley Grover a bit of a serve about that. Wasn't happy with that service.
McLeod overplayed things. Lindsay with the tackle. O'Driscoll now. McLennan, what a battle this is with Panza. McLennan getting battered from pillar to post, but he's coming out on top. Good intervention, that was important, committed to it, did George Brown. Had he missed that, Phillip was away. Well, this today is all about the 100th year of the Chatham Cup and winning this decorated piece of silverware. But I tell you what, there'll be a few other teams around the country, if they haven't already watched some video, watching this with a great deal of interest with the National League coming up. And Christchurch United not there to make up the numbers, let me tell you.
Yeah, they will be a team to beat. Undefeated this year, which is an incredible record, really, isn't it?
Lost the one.
Lost the one.
Lost the one. So almost, but I mean, that's as good as. Goodness me, go through a league campaign and just drop the one defeat. And as I say, winning is a habit, and they are habitual in that sense. Christchurch United. Hayes trying to crash and bash his team back into this contest. Phillip in front of Panza. Panza got back and shut off the alleyway to goal. Cross in the end is poor.
Quinton Kapara all the way back there. Defending.
Grover. And Kapara winning the challenge, and in a lot of pain it would seem, and Nick Waldron does whistle, and now draws the ire of certainly the crowd and a couple of the Melville players. Paul Eiffel looks a little concerned here, but Nick Waldron did not show a great deal of urgency, certainly not to match the concern and the cry of anguish from Quinton Kapara. Initially, I thought, Sarah, the referee was not even going to whistle for a foul.
And looks like Jago Godden was the perpetrator, was he? No card. Quinton Kapara in a lot of discomfort, though.
Yeah, and we saw there also, there's a bit of feeling on the bench, whether there were words exchanged or just concern about the nature of the challenge. Jared Young off camera is still talking to the fourth official. Well, they had a player sent off in 2019, Melville, and you kind of think that that perhaps is one of the only avenues for them back into this match at the moment. If Christchurch were to be rash, if they were to invite the referee to make a decision. But Godden was not cautioned as McLennan is away, right wing side. Max Tommy backpedaling, getting back, but getting through the challenge, and Tommy had to get off his line and make a save. Initially it was great work by Dale, but then Daniel McLennan just hustled and bustled his way and somehow had possession here.
Gee, he's a handful, isn't he? And as you say, Matt Dale did well there. And so did Max Tommy, making himself big. But conceded another corner. They must survive.
Time added on at the end of the first half. Tommy again, it's over the top of the keeper. Just persisting and trying to hit that target at the far post. And on that occasion, it was the centre-back O'Driscoll trying to ghost around the back.
He's not a small man either, O'Driscoll. So they're probably the two target men. Godden and O'Driscoll.
Melville need the sanctity of the dressing rooms to just regroup. Not unlike the Kate Shepherd Cup final. It's Christchurch United would rather not have a half-time break. They'd rather carry this momentum, continue playing the game, don't take a break.
Conversely, Melville United need to channel a bit of Wellington United, who came out and played an absolutely stunning second half. Complete turnaround.
And ultimately, of course, proving in vain with the teenager Jerez scoring the winner for Western Springs, but it really was a game of the cliched two halves. Melville's fans are trying to find full voice and urge their team with vocal supports into the half-time break. Great stuff. Not a big crowd, but they are passionate, as Lagos can't reward them. Just allowing the ball to roll out over the sideline. Philip almost the beneficiary of a deflection or two. Hayes knocks one over the top, looking for the run of Bates. McLeod, Lagos, nice. Driving at the near post. The block had to be made by O'Driscoll. Better from Melville.
Very nice one-touch build-up from Melville.
Hayes drops the shoulder. Handy ball across. Melville can't get anyone on the end of it, though. Bates for McLeod. Lim was available on the right. Hayes ignored him, and perhaps it was the wrong option. As the halftime whistle is blown here at North Harbour Stadium, and it's a tale of own goals. Christchurch United have not scored in the match, and yet they lead 2-0. Both fullbacks for Melville have suffered deflections into their own nets, with first Lim and then Brown scoring for the Southerners. Christchurch United lead at half-time in the Chatham Cup final, 2-0 over Melville.
The Fern is a symbolic representation for all New Zealanders and has been reimagined to represent all of football in Aotearoa, New Zealand. A circular shape not only symbolises the round ball used by all those that play the game, but also, and more importantly, represents the strength and infinite connection created by all those that play a part of the game. With each piece of the fern recognising and acknowledging those that make the beautiful game beautiful. The stalk represents our grassroots, our communities, our clubs, our volunteers and our fans. They are the foundation and are at the centre of all we do. The pinner represents our federations across the whole of New Zealand. Our federations guide and protect our clubs and communities, allowing everyone to be heard, to be represented and provide guidance and opportunities at every pathway. One brand identity with regional differentiation. Federations in New Zealand football working together to serve our communities, creating more than a game, creating a sporting whānau where everyone is welcome.
Well, welcome back to North Harbour Stadium. The floodlights are on, but they are most certainly not needed at the moment. The sun is shining beautifully down on, in particular, those in blue. But, the Melville fans have made the journey and will still hold out hope that their team can turn things around in the second half. They are up against a southern juggernaut, though. Paul Eiffel's side, dominant in the Southern League. And they are looking every bit as comfortable up against northern opponents here in the Chatham Cup final this afternoon.
While they're turning up, they haven't scored as yet.
No. There's a stat for you, a trivia question for you. Christchurch United led at half-time in the Chatham Cup final without scoring a goal. So the own goals coming courtesy of Luca Lim and George Brown, the Melville fullbacks. But own goals are brought about by pressure and certainly dominating the opening 45 minutes. Christchurch United won their semi-final 2-1 over Eastern Suburbs. The quarter-final 3-0 over Hamilton Wanderers, so they have played northern opposition already in this cup run. 3-0 winners over Cashmere. Round 4 was one of their tougher contests, just 1-0 against neighbours Ferrymead Bays. Melville, for their part, they've had to scrap and fight for every result. Comfortable 7-1 winners over Otamotai in round 3, but then 1-0 over Takapuna, 2-0 over Fencibles, 1-0 in the quarter-final over Western Springs. And in the semi-finals, Sarah Gibbs coming from behind against Waterside Karori 3-1. So it's a great cup run for a very young team and a new team for Jared Young. Big turnover of players from last season. So their 9th place finish in the Northern Premier League match with a Chatham Cup final. They can be well pleased with their efforts in 2023.
Yes, and they have got some mettle. As you mentioned, they came back from 1-0 deficit against Waterside Karori in the semi-final. They have been in this position before. They have been victorious, and they've come from behind. So let's see how they come out after a halftime chat.
Keep you posted with any changes. There aren't any to speak of at the moment, though, as Christchurch United leading 2-0, and they have the sun largely on their backs. And what breeze there has been here at North Harbour Stadium really has died away in the late afternoon. Certainly not enough to have any impact on proceedings. Just to keep a close eye on Melville. Sarah, and see if they've changed shape or indeed moved players about, just shuffled the deck a little bit as they try and turn their fortunes around here in the second half.
I do wonder if Aaron Scott is already maintaining a bit of a deeper position.
He certainly looks to be right in the heart of that back line, having spent the first half at the base of the midfield. One for Lagos to chase, does well. Lindsay in close attendance. Lagos pulls that across the penalty area, but never really had players in support. It's just that judgment, that awareness, isn't it, sometimes? Do I try and deliver an early and quick cross, or do I need to give my teammates time to get there? This one for McLeod. There a chance here. Hayes drives it across, blocked.
Certainly are a lot of blue shirts back there.
Bates, that one also cannoning straight into a Christchurch United player. Panzer. Aaron Scott certainly is playing at centre-back. No question. So they've just shuffled things a little. Maybe three at the back. Far post ball is handy and well defended. Having to just put that out for the corner. So good start here by Melville. They need to score, and the earlier the better.
Nice searching ball by George Brown from the right wing. And Quinton Kapara to take the corner. He has a weapon of a left foot. And he'll in-swing this corner with it.
Sunlight a problem in defending this corner, and that's gone wide, but has taken another deflection. So a little bit like Christchurch in the first half. Melville forcing successive corners here. Panzer is arguably the biggest danger, the biggest threat here for Melville. Big number 15. The only upside here for Scott Morris is he now does not have to contend with the sun in his eyes.
Matt Dale, also quite a big man. He'll be a target as well. Number 6.
Lagos swings that in. Athletic diving punch by Morris. Lagos can deliver again, and I think that one not intended to be towards the near post. May have just taken a bit of a bump before it came off the Colombian's right boot.
Better from Melville.
Certainly a positive start, showing good intent. And one thing that can be certain from the team from the Waikato, there will be no quit. They will fight until the end. Panzer. Switch of play, and wasn't too far off for the fullback, Lim, getting forward. They are a very young side, if I can just perhaps with respect to park Aaron Scott, Max Tommy and Eric Panzer to a lesser degree at 30 years of age, but you take Tommy out at 32 and Scott at 37, and the average age of this Melville team would be close to 19 or 20. And I think it's fair to say, Sarah, do you agree that we're perhaps seeing that, in that Christchurch United have some senior pros, more so than Melville, who perhaps are relying on just 2 or 3, that got a few players that have been around the block once or two, Christchurch, and they're just controlling things, aren't they?
Yeah, I think that's dead right. I think it's quite clear that Christchurch United have a number of seasoned campaigners. A few Europeans, Scotsmen and Irishmen have probably played to quite a good level, including this man, Daniel McLennan, on the run.
The 31-year-old Oi tried to thread the needle towards the far post for Phillip, who keeps it in play. They've not got many forward, though, so Phillip does the next best thing and just wins the corner and says, I've given you time, fellas, come on up. Great pass from Godden right into the path, and you could see there McLennan just throwing head in his hands as soon as the ball left his left foot. If he just curled that a little more, maybe Sam Phillip has a tap in at the far post. Always love it when a left back takes right wing corners.
It's a big recovery run, isn't it?
It sure is. It sure is. Away by Hayes. Oh, what a pile driver from Stokes. Oh my goodness me. So close. It was hit so hard it had no chance of dipping. Oh, what a classic cup final goal that might have been.
It's hard to believe you got so much power out of it, the way he just stroked it like that.
Melville, thankful of surviving, because 3-0 down surely is mission impossible.
And in all that excitement, we've missed the infringement resulting in this here free kick being swung in by Kapara's left boot again.
Towards the penalty spot, that's off a Christchurch head, so another corner. Job not done yet for Christchurch United. Paul Eiffel, I'm sure, will have echoed that in the dressing room at half-time, that half-time has never seen a trophy presentation in the history of the game. You've got 45 more minutes before you earn the right to get your hands on the Chatham Cup. Panzer, oh, somehow over the bar. Is that off McLeod? How does he conspire to miss this? An awkward angle, but so close. Panzer does brilliantly here to header it back across.
A lovely ball in, Panzer, oh, just behind him.
Melville are in the contest.
You seem to pick up on what you were just saying, Andrew. 2-0 is a dangerous scoreline, isn't it? Melville is not out of it. They get one back, 2-1. Then it gets a bit squeaky again.
Pedersen has just lost control, and Lim is pretty urgent to get proceedings back underway. Lagos for Bates with the heavy strapping on that right knee. Here's Brown, one of the two own goal scorers. Back for Bates, almost sold him short, and did really. And the Melville midfielder was always struggling. Kipara goes down, wins the free kick, and there's a remonstration here and a booking as a result for Matt Todd-Smith. So Christchurch United have just got to keep things under control, just lower the heart rate a little. Things are threatening to just go the way of Melville here.
Here we see the challenge. Matt Todd-Smith just hangs a leg out there, and Quinton Kipara, to be fair to him, makes the most of it.
Yeah, he did, and I think that might have been the annoyance from Todd-Smith. The concession of the free kick, but also the manner in which it was earned by Kipara. But Christchurch United skipper in the notebook, Lagos. Is there any chance of Colombian passes from this range?
No chance.
Shot on goal and comfortable save for Scott Morris. That really had to be something very special from that distance. Not that he's not capable, and fair play to him for backing himself. Panzer. Godden for the just recently booked skipper. Nice switch of play. Grover with some space, a bit of real estate, looking for McLennan.
Well covered by Panzer, well cut out.
Brown, open the gate. Here comes Brown, showing good pace. So the cover was there from Lindsay, vastly experienced Cameron Lindsay. Look at the strength of McLennan.
Good battle between those two, isn't it?
Like a gladiator out there. McLeod tries to create some space, instead finds a teammate. Handy ball, Hayes was there climbing, still in play, now it's out. There must have been a touch for a corner, no. That's an error of judgment there by Lim. He could have kept that in play, but Melville are pressing, Melville are contending, Melville are threatening.
How about that vertical jump by Liam Hayes? Climbed a ladder there. Lovely searching ball by George Clubb. He's got him, George Brown. I'm sorry. He's got himself involved early down the left-hand flank.
This is who they need on the ball a little more often, perhaps, for Christchurch United. If Owen Stokes can control the tempo, but Melville taking it out of Christchurch United hands, and a corner is given. And it's bringing the Melville fans into the contest as well. They are finding voice. Well, there's no touch there from Lindsay, so it must be a free kick, as it is. So initially I thought Nick Waldron was signalling for a corner. Well, they get a goal here.
It's
and
all on.
To state the bleeding obvious, yes, it is.
But I mean, that's what happens, isn't it? You run at players, you take a few more risks, and you draw fouls.
Substitution coming up, and the reason they want to make this change before the free kick is delivered is because of the size of this bloke. Jack McGovern, who's equally capable, I think, Sarah, is he, with the gloves on, but fancies himself as most goalkeepers do, don't they? Hey, training games, they get out there, but look at the size here of McGovern, and if he can add an aerial threat from set piece time, why not get him out there now for the taking of this free kick?
He did score in the semi-final.
Lagos towards McGovern. The keeper needed to get a touch. What a start that might have been. And Kapara wonders what might have been. It's not been his day. Given us all, he emptied the tank, but all he can do now is watch and hope his teammates, with just over half an hour of regulation time anyway still to play, can somehow pull this one out of the fire. The shadows start to lengthen. The temperature drops a little. Melville, though, trying to lift in the closing stages. Lagos drives it across near post. No one at the far post. They are getting ever closer, Melville.
Lovely ball in from Lagos, and again, first time, goes straight through the 6-yard box. Little toe on that, easiest goal he'll ever score.
McGovern there, so too Panzer. And Christchurch United breathe a sigh of relief.
Melville chasing the game. A lot more urgency, a lot more linking up. Everything to play for, nothing to lose. And that's how they're playing.
And certainly the change in formation is to try and free up the fullbacks, and we've seen Lim and Brown getting forward because they've largely gone to a back three of that man just missing the header, that man Panzer making the clearance, And Aaron Scott, Matt Dale was the aforementioned player. So they've formed a back three and encouraging Lim and Brown to play more as wing-backs rather than full-backs.
And Aaron Scott just bringing that calm presence to shore up that back line. And I think he's achieving that.
And no question that momentum has shifted. It's a funny old thing in sport, momentum. What is it? It's an intangible. How do you change it? How do you influence it? Don't know. But it has. It's changed. And Melville, the dominant team, headed back across goal. McLeod just missing. How on earth has Melville not scored a third goal today? They've had two at the wrong end of the park, all at this end. So close again.
Just have another look at that. The ball comes in from Liam Hayes. Lovely from Eric Panzer, and just out of reach.
Gee,
Riley McLeod.
If McLeod just says, I've got to be desperate, maybe he gets on the end of that. He was just a little slow to react. Knocked back in. Who's the last touch off? It's off Dale. Past the hour mark now. We're into the last half an hour. And not in dissimilar fashion to the Kate Shepherd Cup final. There's been a turning. There's been a change in this match coming out of the half-time break. Melville have found some belief. Can they, though, find a goal? McLennan. Peterson is dispossessed by Dale, and the throw, though, stays with the Southerners. Clever pass from Stokes. McLennan beaten to the ball, but does not lose possession. Lapsley all the way back to Morris. And they are backpedaling a little, Christchurch. That's just skimmed off the head of George Brown. Just driven away, one for the big man to chase. Heavy strapping on the left knee. McGovern, he just bundles his way through into the area, goes down. Play on, says the referee. Right there, Nick Waldron says there was no contact. And McGovern did look like he may have premeditated. Phillip away, onside. Is this the sucker punch? Sam Phillip looks up, squares it for McLennan. Great block. Panzer somehow keeping Melville in the contest. Todd Smith tries one from a long way out. Needed saving on the rebound over the crossbar. It is end-to-end. Do not turn away. 100 years of the Chatham Cup, and this one is living up to so many of the previous cup finals.
Here we see the penalty shout. And Jack McGovern goes down, but no contact. And I think that was right from Nick Waldron. And now we're down the other end. McLennan blocked by Panzer, still alive. Comes back in, courtesy of Todd Smith. Great strike, saved, and then skied by Joel Peterson. Melville United survive.
And importantly for this momentum, they keep winning free kicks, and they are able just to send players into the penalty area, floating one up towards the far post. On the edge of the area, shooting chance, deflected, but deflected off a teammate. So it is a goal kick. That had some power.
Isaac Bates really got a hold of that, didn't he? Didn't have the direction, but he did have the power. Melville United can just land one of these. Make for an interesting 25 minutes.
McLennan frustrated with his teammate. High standards and demanding better service. Scott, the veteran, the stalwart, the club legend. Melville have 25 odd minutes left to try and find a great result for Aaron Scott to go out on. And there's a whistle on the play here. Is there a late challenge perhaps? Is that what they're ruling here? Just a little contact on Max Tommy? Or no, just simply the throw-in is given. Well, I'm not sure. I thought the assistant was signalling for a free kick. There are 2 footballs on the pitch, but play continues.
Very well out by Max Tommy. He was alive to the danger, wasn't he? Went straight through it. Didn't ask any questions, put it in the stands.
Christchurch United really, as we have another look here at the chance for McLennan, I'm not sure he realised how much time he had. He could well have stayed standing, taken a touch, and then belted that one into the back of the net.
Yeah, there was no one around him, really. And he was frustrated, wasn't he? Pounding the ground. He's worked hard, as Daniel McLennan.
Melville winning the 50-50s. It's a clever ball for Phillip, but will just spin out of play, and he now is angry.
Would have been close to offside anyway, I would have thought, unless he'd come from behind halfway.
Melville have to start taking more risks, and that will see the game open up. And with the likes of Phillip with his pace and McLennan with his great positioning and strength, Christchurch United could benefit from that and be a real threat on the counter-attack. But for the moment, they're in survival mode. And Paul Eiffel has seen enough, and he needs to make a couple of changes. So Harris Seb and Edward Wilkinson are coming on. Joel Peterson is being replaced there, the fullback, so his day is done. And it looks like Sam Phillip, that might have been his last action as well. Shake of the head, disappointed. He thinks he could have got more out of this and wants to stay out there. Not a bad attitude to have. He just desperately wants to be involved, but he too makes way as Paul Eiffel looks to just maybe shore things up defensively. The irony, of course, is he's just taken a former centre-back off in Sam Phillip. But we'll see if they've changed shape, if they're going to sit a little deeper, and that's dangerous. Here come Melville, edge of the area. Bates, can he get a shot on goal? Bates deflected, corner.
Can they make one of these corners stick? Jack McGovern in there, Eric Panzer, Matt Dale. That's their tall timber.
And McGovern just changes the equation. The threat adds to it. O'Driscoll there for United. Bates sends it back in towards the far post and just over the head of Dale, one of those players mentioned. Still plenty of time, 20 minutes plus any time added on.
Great resilience being shown by the Melville United side. Haven't they come back fighting?
McLennan again. Service is not accurate enough for the Scotsman. O'Driscoll's been good. The Irishman very calm, very composed, and setting things up nicely as well in possession from centre-back. Todd Smith, the skipper, playing on that booking. Too much weight on that pass, you would think. No, done really well, and so too Max Tommy. Gee, I thought that was played too far in advance of the substitute. But Wilkinson got there with plenty of time.
He certainly has got some wheels, doesn't he, Ed Wilkinson?
Lagos wins the throw. Football's a funny game, and scorelines do funny things to teams, and it's far too simple, far too easy to say, where was this from Melville in the first half? Yeah, it was a different game. Christchurch were playing more assertively. Melville were trying to play through their nerves. They're largely a young team, but with this experience, you do wonder, would they be braver sooner next time? Vargos O'Driscoll's won the ball. Bates. Little dummy, out wide, ball driven across goal. Driven, no, what a goal, what a goal! Here they come, Melville! Here they come! And it is a stunning strike from the teenager. Scored an own goal in the first half, and he's kept his head, and he scores a stunner. Here they come from the Waikato. Look out, Christchurch.
He goes for the cross initially, it spits back out at him, he gets it on his left foot, and he hits it home. Perfectly angled around the defence and around the outstretched arm of the keeper, hits the side netting, Luca Lim. Game on, Andrew.
Oh, and this is where suddenly now Christchurch, can they resist as McLennan can't get on the end of that? Melville have all of the momentum. At 2-0 down, they have to chase the game. Christchurch have stopped playing, and Melville have had a huge part to play in that. But at 2-1 now, the nerves start jangling, and Melville will be braver. They will continue to push. And is there a fairy tale for Aaron Scott yet?
All the pressure is on Christchurch United.
Lagos has to be an influence if they are to drag this one out of the fire. Lindsay, calm. Todd Smith looking for the run of McLennan, and he does run all day. Lim, what a moment for the teenager. Do they have time just to draw breath, Melville, just to regather for one final push, or do they just continue to throw caution to the wind here? That one cannons off Wilkinson. Melville with the throw. Stokes has just been out of the game in the second half. The Irishman's not had anywhere near the touches that Paul Eiffel would hope for.
And Jago Godden just on the ball as well. He's been much the same. He's been quite missing in action this half.
Here is Stokes. Turns it over. Melville stopped playing there, and understandable. And that's why I said, can they just take a moment or two, because the energy they've exerted as we see the goal again, that is just storybook stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, that is some goal. Look at him go. Gets it out of his feet, sights the goal, unleashes with his left foot. Beautifully taken.
That is one for the...
I don't know who wrapped himself around that far post, but someone was going to make sure of that.
It's one that will go on that young man's highlights reel, playing CV, and perhaps open a few doors for the 16-year-old. St. Paul's collegiate, and is very much in the frame for the New Zealand under-17 side, and that helps his cause no end. McLennan with a clever touch. Wilkinson, the sub, fresh legs. Wilkinson, McLennan's pulled away, gets it back. Daniel McLennan pulls the trigger. He might get it back again here. McLennan's gone down, and Nick Waldron says play on. Refereed the game well, has Waldron. Not fallen for some of the theatrics. That's turned over cheaply by Zeb. Brown getting all tangled. Oh, challenge from Aaron Scott is a really strong one. And Wilkinson now having a word here. Aaron Scott has gone in here absolutely full-blooded.
Two-footed.
That is not a great challenge from the skipper.
He might be in trouble here, Aaron Scott.
Nick Waldron wants a word. He brings Aaron Scott across, and is that all it is? Card is on the way, and it is yellow, and Aaron Scott, despite the boos of the Melville fans, I think can just breathe a little sigh of relief there. Because on another day, Sarah, what do you think? That could easily have been a red card?
Absolutely.
Paul Eiffel feeling the tension.
And Riley Grover a little worse for wear after that, understandably. It's a bit of a brain explosion, wasn't it, from Aaron Scott, really?
Well, I think he just felt that there was a real danger there, that if Grover was to wriggle clear, that they were in trouble, Melville, and it really is now, you know, desperation, all hands on deck, throw whatever cliche you want at it. They are just going at 100%, 100 miles an hour to try and find that second goal. Wilkinson has been good, the substitute. Grover with a touch. Wilkinson feels he was balked by Scott, and that would have been dangerous. McLeod chasing down into the corner, can't keep it in play. What a cup final. Befitting the 100-year celebration. 13 minutes to play, plus some stoppage time. We've had a couple of substitutions, we've had a couple of injury breaks. So maybe Melville have still got the best part of 16 or 17 minutes.
It's enough time, isn't it?
Has Jared Young got any other changes? Has he got any other rabbits in the hat?
He looks very pensive down there, doesn't he? Looking on, off camera.
Christchurch United have just not had any possession. Getting back and helping out of midfield is Bates. Early ball, looking for the big figure of Jack McGovern.
Yep, handball.
Another free kick, another chance for Melville to send players forward. Well, Aaron Scott scored a late equaliser against Napier back in 2019. It proved to be too little too late because Napier scored a late winner, but they've been here and done that, if you like. They know how to fight to the end. Scott has stayed back on the halfway line. Look for Panzer, look for McGovern. Matt Dale at the far post. Christchurch United fans nervous. Lagos plays towards the keeper, and really that's disappointing.
It's sort of a half shot, half chip, wasn't it? It's too powerful to allow enough time for the runners to get to it.
Well, in this situation, this late in the match with this scoreline, you have to just put that in the mixer and give your teammates a chance. Zeb, second half substitutes, is clattered by Lim, who's had quite the game. Own goal, stunning goal. Up and down that right wing side, got involved on attack in the second half.
Yeah, you can't fault the effort of these players. They're leaving everything out there.
Zeb. Oh, that's dangerous. Brown comes away with it. Counter-attack on for Melville. 3 to aim at in the penalty area. Rolls one for Lagos. Step over. McLeod trying to get a shot away. Christchurch United just getting bodies behind the ball. Look at the battling Ryan McLeod. Free kick here for Christchurch United. Wilkinson was away, but they'll be happy to see a few more seconds go off the clock as the shadows now almost taking full effect on the pitch, but not for the fans. They're still bathed in sunlight. Who will have, though, that winning glow at the end of the 90? Jared Young, first year as a head coach here at Melville. Retired as a player following concussion issues, and now plying his trade and looking to be a very, very promising young coach. They're exhausted, aren't they? So many of these players. And with fatigue come mistakes.
And the remaining sunlight right into the eyes of the players here.
Not sure that United are in any hurry to deliver into the penalty area, though. They're just trying, I think, to wriggle away. McLennan pulls it back. Clever play. And I think everyone had fallen for the same trick that I had, and that was they were just going to stay in the corner. But Daniel McLennan had other ideas. Turning
very clever
past two defenders.
Dropped his shoulder, dinked the other way. Wriggled out of his two men.
Now this sun is certainly an issue. Max Tommy punches. Only as far as Lindsay. Far post Zeb. He might have a chance here on the rebound. Wilkinson. Oh, what a block. Hayes. Total commitment.
Desperate defending from Liam Hayes. Get another look at that. Danger. Max Tommy clears. Falls to Ed Wilkinson. Huge block from Liam Hayes.
Well, I think Matt Dale is out on his feet. I think he has given everything. And the big number 6, I think, is just struggling now to get through the final 10 minutes. Tommy gets a hand on that under pressure from O'Driscoll. They'll clear their lines, though, Melville.
Well, Matt Dale has had his work cut out for him. He's been marking Daniel McLennan all game.
So Bates goes. Couple of changes here. It is last ditch effort now. Campbell Brown is on, and so too Sean McDonald, the Englishman. And I think Jared Young might have seen the same thing I'd seen. It looks like it was Dale that also made way, so his job is done. What an effort. No harm in that, in running yourself into the ground, emptying the tank, and then putting the hand up and saying to the coach, get someone else on. McGovern, was he through? Was he clipped? Well, there's an earlier card here, so I'm not sure who that's been shown to, because the card's been waved at a bunch of players about 20 metres away. It is a Melville free kick. It looks like it might be Grover, is it? Or you cannot turn away from this cup final.
It's probably just as well. There was the earlier infringement, and there did appear to be some contact on Jack McGovern, and he's a big man, so he goes down like a ton of bricks, doesn't he?
I tell you what, though, he gets a bit of momentum up. He can shuffle.
Yeah, looks like he's on one leg as well.
He has been a very influential change. And they dink it in towards the far post. O'Driscoll away, anywhere will do. The goal scorer. Oh, lovely touch by Lim. Out on the edge. Scott just puts it up in there. McGovern trying to get involved. Corner. Melville flying home here with a wet sail. 5 minutes, is there long enough? God, and it looked like struggling with a little cramp. This end of the pitch completely in shade. And that's poor.
Wasted opportunity, wasn't it?
Well, it just sucks the air out of the ground. You know, the Melville supporters suddenly go quiet. Christchurch United suddenly breathe. You just have to continue to keep the ball in play. Jared Young is a bunch of nerves. What a job he's done in this cup run. Brown. Melville delivering towards the far post. Cleared, but not with any real surety from Christchurch. Somehow they come away with it. Just welly it up the park. Scott is there to intervene. McLennan just about out of gas as well, the number 9 for Christchurch. Scott, good composure. McLeod can turn. Lagos at the far post. McLeod beats 2. Oh, shot just over the corner of the goal. It eludes the main frame and just catches the supporting stanchion.
Didn't he do well? Just shimmies and fakes. Gives himself a little meter. Opens his hips. Has a crack, why not? It was pretty close.
Scott Morris, understandably, taking as much time as he is allowed, but Nick Waldron might well be adding more time to make up for that. That one off for Aaron Scott.
Hasn't he shored up that defence?
Well, and the change in shape as well has just allowed, it may be a combination of Christchurch United sitting back a little bit. The influence of Lim and Brown on either flank, the fullbacks getting forward. Melville going to essentially 3 at the back has helped that. It's certainly been something of a master stroke from Jared Young and his coaching staff at half-time. Scott trying to keep that in play, just couldn't angle that 37-year-old frame. There's the shot again from McLeod. It started to dip, not quickly enough. Scott again. Now they have a throw.
Good, strong challenge from Scott. Leading from the front.
And they can open up here. There is space down the left wing side for Brown. Does the ball find its way through to him? It does now. On McLeod, but Lagos is there. The Colombian, bit of magic maybe. Cleared away. United very much now just hanging on, desperately awaiting that final whistle. It's still a few minutes away. Scott delivers. This should be easy for Morris. Oh dear, that's nasty from Lagos. He's dived in here, has Lagos, with no chance really of getting the ball. And I can understand Scott Morris being livid here. This is a bit reckless from the Colombian.
Yeah, he just collected his legs out from under him, didn't he, Scott Morris? He was airborne too. That was dangerous.
And Morris was quick to have a word. And again, on a different day, Gerson Lagos there might well have seen a different colour. Nick Waldron's done well here. He's calmed things down, got involved very quickly. A tap on the shoulder there to Scott Morris. You're okay. We've dealt with it.
Yeah, you're right. He de-escalated immediately, didn't he, Nick Waldron, because there was a threat of a boil over there.
Gerson Lagos there is a little fortunate on 2 counts, I reckon. One, that he's seen yellow only, and 2, that he hasn't injured Scott Morris.
That's right.
Nick Waldron with a look at the watch. That'll add more time. Temperature's cooling, but temperatures mentally are rising. Who stays in control? Who maintains their composure? If Christchurch United are to add a 7th Chatham Cup title. They've been made to work tremendously hard for this. Scott again winning aerial challenges right to the end of his career, if indeed that is to be the case. Lapsley just out of play. Scott straight back into it. Handball.
Handball.
Here they come again. Here they come again. I tell you what, Max Tommy's thinking of it just off camera. Max Tommy was thinking about it, but it's too early, surely. I haven't seen how many minutes to be added on, and we might be about to get that, although Christchurch United, I think, also want to make changes. Hayes delivers. O'Driscoll away. McLeod can send this back in and should do so, does now. Near post ball, it's off a Christchurch player for a corner. O'Driscoll says, I was pushed, sir. Corner for Melville. 2 substitutes await for Christchurch United, but Paul Eiffel won't make that change while they defend a corner. Lagos floats that into the far post, headed back across goal. It just needs to rebound to a red-shirted player. Surely they deserve a little luck after the 2 own goals. Lagos dispossessed. Zeb. Lagos, got to be careful, he's just been booked. Wins the ball though, and now Zeb will get a booking. Just grabbing the Colombian.
A lot of shirt tugging going on.
Lagos cramping up again. Zeb was prepared there to take one for the team. Just halt any Melville momentum. Still, Paul Eiffel does not pull the trigger on the subs. They are standing next to the coach in the technical area.
All the energy coming from Melville's corner, isn't it? Christchurch just hanging on.
And trying to hit that across was Panzer, but couldn't get the angle back across goal. And now Paul Eiffel is content to use up another 30 seconds or so and make a couple of changes. And I'm sure that's pretty much all this is about. It's cup final action for Nicholas Murphy. He'll get out there for the remaining moments, if not seconds, of this final. And so too Mason Stern. And players replaced. Jago Godden out of that midfield that has been overrun in the second half. And it looks also like Riley Grover makes way. So they can now not affect the match. They have to sit, cross fingers, cross toes. And if you're that way inclined, say a little prayer. Can Christchurch get through the final moments? Scott, all the way back to Tommy. He just bombs it downfield. McGovern, O'Driscoll, that's been a battle. McGovern goes down, stays down. Wilkinson, it's been lively, the substitute. McLennan onto the left foot. Oh, off the post, that would have killed it off. Well, you said he was going to score, Sarah. He's so close to winning the cup final. What a turn here, Ryan McLeod. What a ball. Brilliant.
Eric Panzer up front.
Panzer with the cross, it's handy as well. Towards the far post, the keeper stumbles, but the header goes wide. What drama as we see again this look, McLennan thundering that off the post.
Everyone thought it was going for the far post, but he went in the near post. Here it is, cannons it in. Gosh, that was some power. Look how far it rebounds.
Oh, the rebound set up the counter-attack. If Melville score and we go to extra time, they suddenly become warm favourites. Scrambled away by one of the substitutes, Murphy. All eyes on Nick Waldron. Hayes. Brown, the substitute. He might have overrun this, keeps it in for Lim swings it across. There's no one there in a Melville shirt, though. Brown, the fullback. There are 2 Browns on the park now for Melville. We've played 5 of the 7 minutes. There are still a couple to play. This might go all the way over. No, it doesn't. Scramble on, an air shot. A chance there for Melville again. There's been a couple of opportunities at the far post for Sean McDonald. First with the header, and that one with a snapshot on the volley. Oh, Paul Bag of Nerves Eiffel. The stress is visible on the coach's face. McLennan still battling. Aaron Scott still winning tackles. Flicked on for McGovern. The intervention there, though. Lagos swings that in. It's taken a deflection, has it? Or is that just straight off the Colombian's boot? It is a goal kick. 40 seconds, maybe a little more, because remember the 7 minutes is agreed at the end of the 90, and there's typically another minute or 90 seconds to add on during time added on. 100 years of history, this wonderful, wonderful trophy that is up for grabs. So many players have tried, some have been successful, so many have missed out. Melville have never won it. McGovern trying to get through. What's the decision here? Free kick Melville. It is now all hands on deck. Max Tommy is coming forward. The free kick given here simply through the persistence of Jack McGovern. He says, I'm not giving up. You might argue there he's the one fouling Lindsay, but the free kick goes the way of Melville. They just do not lie down.
Lagos over the ball.
Okay. If he scores directly here, he's a genius, but I think he has to play this for a teammate. I think he has to resist temptation here. Sarah Gibbs, what do you think? Knock this in and look for one of your teammates to get a header on it?
Yeah, I agree. I think...
Lagos. He does. He plays it in. There's a chance! They've scored!
Oh my goodness!
They've scored, Melville! Incredible scenes!
Was it Max Tommy?
Max Tommy is taking the adulation, the celebration, the incredulation. Can you believe it?
It never happens.
Christchurch United heads drop to the
It
turf.
is Max Tommy.
Max Tommy, you are a superstar. They've already got McGovern out there who plays in goal. Max Tommy was first to react.
He was already on the way down, wasn't he? He just stuck his leg out and put his boot through it. Amazing scenes here.
We have got time added on bonus territory here in the Chatham Cup, and I'm not sure that Christchurch United can pick themselves up.
Look at the body language out there.
Melville United have somehow, incredibly, after the first half performance, got themselves back into the match. Remember, they've scored all 4 goals. Their fullbacks each scored an own goal in the first half. Young Luca Lim made good by scoring a brilliant goal to get them back into the contest. And Max Tommy, the goalkeeper, my goodness me, 2-2, and we go to extra time. And I said it earlier, as we get another look at the goal, Sarah Gibbs, surely now Melville are unbackable favourites. The momentum in this game has completely shifted.
Well, if you look at the huddle even out there off camera, as we'd see this goal again, Max Tommy was not going to miss from there, was he? The huddle, the tight huddle of Melville and the loose huddle over there of Christchurch United. There we see the goal again, and the fans go nuts.
It is a goal that will be replayed over and over and over in Hamilton. until football doesn't exist anymore. Max Tommy, look at him. Look at the adrenaline still. And Jared Young now, the challenge may well be, I don't know, does he want to try and bring his players back down a bit here? I'm not sure that he can. You just simply have to try and ride this euphoria, grab its coattails and ride it all the way to picking up the trophy. Quite remarkable. I don't know I've seen a cup final like it. Max Tommy. Add to the stats. Max Tommy, games played, I don't know how many. Goals scored, 1.
1.
He looks to the heavens.
And what was it? The 98th minute, the last kick of the game. Incredible scenes. And I don't know if Christchurch can come back from this. They look dejected. They need to pick themselves up.
Well,
it's back to 0-0.
And Aaron Scott just extended his career, thanks to Max Tommy, by at least another 30 minutes. And the floodlights are well and truly going to be called into action here as we go into the early evening on a beautiful spring night here in Auckland, as Nick Waldron goes through the pre-extra time formalities. And there have been some moments in this match, and whilst the goal will be talked about and remembered in Hamilton, maybe the free kick that was awarded might be being talked about in Christchurch right now. It appeared to be a 50-50 call. But as I said earlier, you can't argue they deserved a little luck, Melville, with a couple of own goals putting them well and truly behind in this contest. And they've been good enough. They've been good enough. They've turned this game on its head through sheer passion, drive and commitment, and no shortage of skill as well.
That's dead right. You just saw on the screen before.
It's already being replayed in Hamilton. Max Tommy is already dining out on the goal, and the game's not even over.
Aaron Scott just trying to dial his guys back. Just trying to calm them down a bit. Consolidate. Stick to the task at hand. We are back to level. After 98 minutes, we are back to level.
Right, where are the senior pros now? We spoke about it in the Christchurch United side as McLennan has to find a little more energy. He's just about run himself into the ground. And the big Scotsman has to find a little more gas in the tank. But at 2-0 and at halftime, we spoke about the difference that the likes of O'Driscoll, the likes of Stokes, McLennan, you know, some of those senior pros, if you like, were just edging things for Christchurch. They've gone quiet. And it's been Melville that's grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. Well, can Christchurch United re-find that level of control? Zeb. Some of those changes as well made for tactical reasons, and Paul Eiffel putting 2 subs on in the last 60 seconds or so. And I wonder if it was 2-2, headed towards extra time, would he have made the same changes? We might never know.
I suspect not.
Stokes, the Irishman, hardly had a kick in the second half. Fitness now plays a part. Certainly the ability to manage your emotions plays a huge part now. O'Driscoll back to Morris. Zeb, the substitute. Lapsley plays one down the line, but earlier in the match, McLennan would have made a run and would perhaps have won possession there, but there's been a few miles put on the legs since. McLeod still looks lively, doesn't he? And as if to answer that call, beats his player, sends it across. Melville fans are making enough noise to suggest there are a couple of thousand here. There are, in truth, a couple of hundred. But they are right in behind their side. The hoardings are taking a beating.
Does that crowd just give Melville that little lift?
Oh, I think they've played a huge part in the second half. They've not lost the faith.
Eric pans a head down,
Yeah.
grinding out that recovery run, but they've got a corner to defend now.
And fullback George Brown stays down, and I have no doubt we're going to see multiple occurrences of cramp. It's a big pitch. It's not been a hot day, but it's been a beautifully fine spring day. But the size of the pitch and the enormity of the occasion sometimes just puts added stress on the muscles.
These players have worked very hard, especially these Melville wingbacks in the second half.
Punched away by the goal scorer.
Who is going to kill this game? And how?
Well, United will be pleased that the break, if nothing else, at the end of the 90 has just allowed them to regather their thoughts. And if anything, that urgent, frantic, frenetic effort of Melville has just dropped away. Hayes looks long towards McGovern. Zeb for Wilkinson. Free kick, no advantage. Zeb was clipped, so this is dangerous now for Melville as they have to defend the set piece. And certainly within striking range here.
Stokes over the ball.
Nick Waldron is going to halt proceedings, so play will restart on the whistle as he sets the wall back the 10 metres. 4 in the wall, now 5 as the veteran skipper Aaron Scott lines up.
Bit of a similar spot to the final kick of the regulation time, a little more central.
Stokes couldn't get it down over the wall. That looked tired, didn't it?
It did look tired, and he hung his head immediately afterwards. The body language of the Christchurch men is telling. And conversely, Melville is up. They have the momentum. They're chasing the game. They're the underdogs. They've got nothing to lose. Christchurch has got everything to lose. They've never lost bar once this season. This is unfamiliar territory for them.
Well, and they just were unable to resist wave after wave of red attack as McGovern's just cannoned into Murphy here. So it's Christchurch United's turn to win back-to-back free kicks, and that just helps to shift that momentum again. Wilkinson with time. Scott, who's been booked. Wilkinson goes down, and Scott acknowledges the foul. He has to just tread a little carefully.
There might be a few clumsy challenges come into play here as players get tired.
Swung in towards the near post, taken a deflection away by Brown to McLeod. Clever little pass from Ryan McLeod. Been really impressed as late challenge here. And referee Nick Waldron. Wilkinson says, "Who me, sir?" But that was blatant from Ed Wilkinson. Just dropping the shoulder into Brown and bundling him over the touchline.
Straight into the Christchurch bench as well, wasn't it?
And some attention required for Max Tommy. There's a pause in proceedings here. Not Max Tommy, I apologise. It may well be Aaron Scott. Nick Waldron's gone across just to finish the bookkeeping. But he's also gone to check Aaron Scott, who's walking rather gingerly on that right ankle, I think as a result of that earlier challenge that gave the free kick away. McLennan, he said he was going to score. He's been given another half hour, Sarah, so maybe. Is he the hero? What about McGovern for Melville? Second half substitute, trying to challenge there. Could he be the hero? What about this young fella, the 16-year-old fullback? Here's McDonald, the Englishman, the sub. Melville's turn to enjoy a little possession.
He's been solid, Liam Hayes, in that second half, hasn't he? Just steadied the ship in the midfield there.
Both players, both sides, all combatants are still throwing themselves into every challenge.
Maybe the youth at this point becomes the advantage. Young legs, light.
And feeling like you've come back from the brink, that you truly have the footballing gods on your side. Ball played over the top for McLennan. Oh, the control. One of those rare moments where it's let the Scotsman down, and I have no doubt that is fatigue, because that was right into his wheelhouse there and he just couldn't bring it down. Here come Melville on the counter. McLeod slides the pass.
Ball.
McGovern into the side netting. Melville over on the far side. The fans think he scored. He hasn't.
Ryan McLeod is standing up in this extra time. Look at him go. Searching run, lovely through ball, lovely weight. And a first time effort by Jack McGovern. Rattles the side netting.
McLeod's a Tauranga product who is adding to his reputation and his CV with a performance today.
And he looks to be still full of running,
yeah.
Is Ryan McLeod.
Yeah, looks like the opening 5 minutes, let alone 5 minutes left in the first half of extra time. Here he is, inviting Brown forward. Is it too much to ask that Brown also scores? Lim, own goal, scored a goal. Brown, own goal. Can the other fullback for Melville get on the score sheet? Jared Young is making a change. And it is Jerson Lagos, who I think's been struggling with cramps, so struggling physically. And he will make way, the Colombian, and his energy, his spark, his creativity has just helped keep Melville in the fight. And he is replaced by Jacob England. I can tell you that while that change was being made, Daniel McLennan, the Christchurch United striker, was over to the bench and took an anti-cramp tablet and a shot of some sort of magic elixir. You can see the others also trying to get some hydration into them. The big fella, McGovern, struggling with the right knee. The left knee's got about 4 miles of bandage on it. The right knee might have it next week too. He's got the cold spray. Approaching the sideline. He'll have to leave the park momentarily, will he? He does. So Melville, for the moment, down to 10. Not for long, though. Brown can't keep the cross in play.
He looks like he's been here before with the cold spray, old Jack McGovern, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's battle hardened, that's for sure. If football was played in dark alleyways, I'm on his side.
I'm on McLennan's side.
Yeah, there's a decent matchup, indeed. Hayes continued to fight, continued to be a real source of strength in that Melville midfield. Well, I think there are signs here now that both sides well and truly running out of gas. It was so frenetic United defending and scrambling, and Melville attacking and throwing everything at them, that I think both sides are a little gun shy now. The pace certainly has dropped out of the game.
Perhaps being a bit more discerning.
Oh, Wilkinson, great touch. Drives it at the near post. There was no support there. Tommy had to make the save. Superb control by Wilkinson. It looked like a lost cause.
He has made an impact, that Wilkinson, hasn't he? He's pretty electric.
Jack McGovern is on one leg, and it's the leg with all the bandage. He really is struggling with that right knee. United, it may well come down to these substitutes, you know, that have the fresh legs and are sharper of mind and wit at this stage of proceedings. McLeod, little shimmy. Free kick given, Christchurch United. Played quickly, Wilkinson. Almost played in too much haste. Stokes rolls the ball around the back, but Max Tommy fumbles, and it's out over the goal line. I just thought for a moment McLennan was thinking of keeping that in play with Tommy prone on the ground. 90 seconds left in the first half of extra time. And even the subs are weary.
Just thought Campbell Brown might have been on the wrong side of his man there, but managed to evade the danger.
Lapsley again, left fullback, right wing corner. In extra time, Paul Eiffel still looks pensive, looks nervous. Melville clear it away. Stokes. United starting to enjoy some better moments after being battered from pillar to post in that second half. Lining up a shot on goal, just goes wide. Max Tommy, to be fair, I think the big keeper may well have had that covered, but it was only a metre or so wide of the far post.
But here we see Mason Stern combining with Edward Wilkinson. The substitutes coming together. Not a bad effort. I think you're right. I think Max Tommy knew that was going wide, but it wasn't far wide. Best chance of the first half of the extra time, I dare say.
Max Tommy was in goal in that 2019 Chatham Cup final. He's been under a bit of an injury cloud leading up to today, but the injury didn't stop him going forward to smash home the equaliser. McLeod.
He's got lovely disguise, Ryan McLeod, doesn't he? Just fakes.
Technically very good. That avenue to goal momentarily was open, but the roadblock soon went up in blue shirts. McGovern gets the header towards goal and says, come on, fellas, just run off me.
Yeah, must anticipate that. That's what he's there for.
Panzer, McLennan. The game is now stretched across about 60 or 70 metres at times. It's getting so wide, the spaces are opening up, but there is the half-time whistle for extra time. And exhaustion may well be the theme. Who can overcome it? Who can find the reserves of energy?
But look at the energy from the Melville. They're all running in. But the Christchurch United players are walking in.
Yeah, and Daniel McLennan's struggling to do that.
He's grimacing, isn't he?
And there's the cramp spray again.
Luca Lim joining his teammates. Last to arrive. He's done a lot of running, Luca Lim. Hands on his head, sucking it in.
Christchurch United just looking to gather for one final push. There's not much of a break here. They will turn around pretty quickly as we have a look at the goals there from the teenage fullback, Luca Lim. What a moment for him to erase the memories of the own goal earlier in the match.
What a strike.
That gave them the lifeline. That gave them the hope. That was back when the sun was still shining.
And it was Ryan McLeod coming in far post, wrapped himself around that post.
And this was the drama to top it all. Max Tommy had come forward in the 98th minute and he smashes it home. And I reckon that's the furthest he's run all season, the keeper. He's never done that at training. He's just done a 50-metre shuttle and a slide.
Absolute scenes.
Final 15 minutes underway. If we don't have a goal, we head to penalties. We've had so much drama. I'm sure there is still a twist left in this tale. Over the top, but there you see no one chasing. McGovern's struggling. He's a target man. The ball's got to be played to him, not beyond him.
Yeah, he's got to have it to feet.
Lapsley now.
I think these players will be a bit more discerning with their runs.
Zeb, who should have plenty of running in him, he is one of the second half subs. And I've lost track, I'll be completely honest with you. I've lost track of the number of subs made. I'm not sure if Melville have any more to make. Paul Eiffel may have one available to him. Lim to take the throw. Wilkinson with a nice touch for Stokes. Stokes misdirected pass. Hayes. Space on this right wing side now for McLeod. McGovern to aim at. McLeod pulls it back edge of the area. Lovely ball. The shot is blocked. The second one is blocked. Desperation stuff for United. And again, the most likely outlet perhaps for Melville is this man, Ryan McLeod. Look at him turn, look at him wriggle, look at him find space, and look at him find a teammate. Brown trying to get past Murphy.
Unfortunate slip from Brown.
Wilkinson, oh, that's great. Creating space. Wilkinson, has he got support? Has he got teammates? Stokes almost ran into each other. And now they've run out of support. Players just do not have the energy to get forward. Now they advance. Two in the area to aim at. Driven at the near post, but goes well wide of the near post. And players fall to the turf with cramp. Panzer's gone down. Hayes is struggling. As we have a look again at the desperation here, I think it is Murphy. One block, two blocks.
Ryan McLeod looking to be the source of the creation, isn't he? He's still full of running. He must be a very fit man.
There
Players
is
struggling to recover.
Oh, there's some walking wounded, absolutely. And for Melville, they do not care. They can finish this match and look forward to a 4-month recovery. For them, it's the end of the season. Beautiful from Stokes. Wilkinson. McLennan's gone ahead. McLennan straight into the keeper, who stayed really strong. Max Tommy resisted the temptation to dive, and the ball straight into his midriff. Paul Eiffel can't believe it. The substitutes, the assistant coaches, the support staff urging Christchurch United on. Nice little dummy. McLennan rolls a pass. Lovely turn. Wilkinson on a...
Unbelievable.
Incredible. Is that Aaron Scott?
It is.
And he stayed down. And momentarily, from a defending perspective, this is great, Scott. Because this is a 37-year-old, 20 years of dedication to this club, and he knows no end to the effort and playing for that shirt. What a dive to stop the shot on goal. Now, is this just cramp? I think it may well be for the 37-year-old.
I think it stung him straight in the back of the hammies, didn't it?
And I reckon the physio got out there and said, where is it? And Aaron said, yeah, it's everywhere. it's hamstrings, it's calf muscle.
Where's Jack's cold spray?
And a momentary pause. The fans have just delighted in this match. And Melville have shaded the Christchurch United fans for obvious reasons. They've had a drive up the expressway. Christchurch United have had a rather more complicated, more expensive journey. And Aaron Scott is, I think, also just nursing a knock to an area that he'd rather we don't talk about. I did mention earlier that he's one of two fathers on the Melville books, and it might be just as well, Aaron, that you've
done your dash.
Got the 4 kids, and I'm sure they'll be watching with tremendous pride. So Aaron Scott just out of screen is moving rather quietly towards the sideline, but
senior men, though, standing up, aren't they?
Yeah, he'll head back out there and is now back on the pitch. We're 11 v 11. Surely there is another piece of drama. Surely there is time for another chance. Who does the chance fall to, and can they take it to win a cup final and write their names absolutely for either of these sides into the history books in this 100-year celebration of the Chatham Cup? Murphy. Oh, Stokes, what a save! Max Tommy, a hero at both ends of North Harbour Stadium.
Didn't he get a hold of that, Stokes?
Oh, Max Tommy, you will not have to buy a drink in the Waikato again if your team gets out of this.
Oh.
Murphy swings it in again. Away by the limping, the struggling Aaron Scott. McGovern can hardly turn and chase and run. Somehow he musters the energy.
What a strike by Stokes.
Still stayed in play, but let's have a look at this on the volley. Stunning technique. He went close with a pile driver from 25 metres earlier in the match. Now into the penalty area, and Max Tommy's down and makes the save, and Aaron Scott's gone down again. There are players scattered everywhere as though you're at the bowling alley. Knock them down. Can anyone get a spare? Nick Waldron checks them all. 7 minutes still to play. Oh, who'd be a coach? Jared Young started this cup final as a coach at 29 years of age. He's now 48. It almost seems cruel to think that there has to be a loser of this cup final. But of course, there has to be. The script doesn't go that way. This is not the Olympic high jump where you can share the medal. Someone has to win. Someone has to be defeated.
Very well up by Driscoll there.
Stokes is starting to just have an influence late in proceedings. Wilkinson is a little bit like...
well won.
Melville turn it over and come away down the right wing side.
Poor Luca Lim's got nothing. He's not chasing that at this point.
Wilkinson, for me, is proving to be quite a similar spark that Ryan McLeod is for Melville. He's got a bit of pace, got a bit of energy. Of course, he has the advantage of being a substitute, so hasn't played the complete journey. Well, if there is to be a winner, you hope it's something special, something magic. You hope it's not on the back of a mistake. I don't think any player would be deserving of that. Let someone win it rather than someone lose it.
That's right, and errors do tend to creep in, though, with this fatigue. So hopefully that's the way it plays out.
Zeb. Looking for support, just going square, and Melville will be happy enough with that. Stokes.
Oh, unfortunate.
And that's just the early evening now. Slip on the turf, and Nicholas Murphy, a victim of perhaps the dew that starting to form on the playing surface here. And I said earlier, are there any subs left and available to be made? And we're going to get confirmation of that. I think both coaches have one still to make. And for Melville, it's Keegan Thompson who is on.
For Sean McDonald, by the look of it.
So sub on, sub off. So that has to be an injury for the number 9, Sean McDonald, who came on late as a sub, but now makes a long walk around the outside of the pitch and heads back to the bench. Lapsley, good intervention. Stokes are united, finishing the stronger of the two teams. Wilkinson trying to find some wriggle room, some shooting room. Onto the right foot, the left foot, spinning on a dime. Possession is gold. If you're in possession, you can't be hurt. You may not have the energy or the wherewithal to fashion a chance, but you can't be hurt if you have the ball.
And you also can't be hurt in the opposition half, so territory's gold as well.
Come on, Max. Come on, Max. We know you're fit. You ran 50 metres and went into a knee slide. Goalkeepers suddenly become the centre of attention. Paul Eiffel just trying to get those tweaks out of the back. He'll be so... Look at him. He's tense. I did say to him, I remind you, before the match, I said, well, you're going to lace them up. He said, I can't be that guy. Well, I'll tell you what, hindsight's an easy thing as McLennan rolls the ball for Zeb, but how handy might Paul Eiffel have been in this extra time period?
Paul Eiffel on fresh legs. That would have been a power play, wouldn't it?
And I'm sure he spoke to those who advise him and that he trusts at the club, and maybe it was a group decision, but I'm sure they would also have supported Paul Eiffel, because despite his advancing years, he has something special. Does Paul Eiffel, and could still have impacted a match of this stature.
Absolutely.
And Jack McGovern's gone down. And is it another injury for the big fella? He's just lost his footing and grabbing at the left calf. He's back up and limping back into the fray. Jared Young looks and hopes and prays. Are we going to penalties?
Luca Lim content to just find the safety of the sideline.
Well, I tell you what, the 100th year cup final, it may well go into the 101st year. The way this is playing out. Christchurch United in possession. Are they the ones to have one last opportunity? McLennan can't control. Well marshalled by Aaron Scott. Wilkinson, well defended though, and the ball out of play. Throw for Christchurch. Murphy. Trying to fashion a cross if they can. Here's Wilkinson again against Brown. Cannon's out corner.
He's a firecracker.
Well,
is Wilkinson.
Into added time in extra time. Does Scott Morris come forward to try and repeat the Max Tommy effort? He does not. In fact, Christchurch United are struggling to get everyone into the penalty area, which is somewhat surprising. They're concerned on the counter, but I would have thrown everyone forward. Corner delivered.
Good touch.
Tommy, oh my goodness me. This might go down, you know, as the Max Tommy final, because surely he plays a part in the penalty shootout. Up towards halfway. Free kick here for Melville. This will give them a chance just to breathe.
Melville are just wanting to get rid of it, aren't they? They just don't want to play down here.
Well, Aaron Scott is down again. I tell you what, when the very famous Hamilton production company puts the Aaron Scott movie script to work, what do you think? Russell Crowe has to play Aaron Scott because he is gladiatorial. 20 years of service, and he will not lie down. He will not give up. These fans are urging him on. Look at him. Beaten but not bowed. I say beaten in a physical sense because he's not on the scoreline. It's 2-2, and it looks very much like we're going to go to penalties. McLeod has been out of the game for the last 3 or 4 minutes. Here he is on the ball. Hayes. Oh, needed to get a touch. It was always going to hit out if England didn't get control. Still we play on. Melville trying to sing their team home. Free kick, Christchurch United. One last chance, perhaps. Taken quickly. Wilkinson, lovely little pass around the back of the fullback, swung in. McLennan was the target. It's still there. Murphy throwing himself into the action. Three minutes of time added on at the end of extra time. I'm not sure if Christchurch have got a flight out of Auckland tonight, but they might miss it, you know. McLeod. Melville now. Oh. McGovern is beyond able to chase any sort of a through ball. He has given us all, the big fella.
Yep, the young substitute needs to remember that.
Here they come, United. Still we play on. Ball delivered in, deflected away. Tommy has to just put this out over the sideline. Max Tommy sends it down the line. Lapsley sends it back. Max Tommy catches and collapses to the turf. Four minutes of added time. Nick Waldron's not playing golden goal, is he? Christchurch United, one last burst of energy. Deflected. Deflected again. Melville, desperate. Get it anywhere. Get it out of the penalty area. Final whistle. 100 years of Chatham Cup history, and it will go to a penalty shootout to decide the winner in 2023. And have the players now got the reserves of energy to take a penalty? Even Ryan McLeod, who's been superb in that Melville midfield, even he now is showing wear and tear. And in amongst all of this, of course, a winner must be found of the Jack Batty Memorial Trophy for the man of the match. And there are any number of candidates in a match that has been so fiercely fought and I think in so many ways deservedly level at the end of the 19, at the end of extra time. Christchurch United dominated the opening 45 minutes. Melville came back at them, and in extra time it really was survival of the fittest. Penalty shootout to decide the cup final.
And now does this where the experience of Christchurch United count? We thought maybe the youth was an advantage when the game was stretched in extra time. Now does the experience come to the fore? The senior men in Christchurch United. But look at the huddles again. Tight huddle from Melville. Against the odds, here they are, still in it.
Well, it really just scenes that in so many ways don't really reflect a football match. This looks like a battle zone. It looks like players that have taken hits left, right and centre. I was due to be at a big day today at a former club, my childhood club, Manurewa, who've had a big season, qualified for the National League. Today's their Memorial Day, where they celebrate and remember all of the people that have passed over the years from Manurewa. And my message went out to the club that I've got a cup final to call, I can't be there. Well, this is what that usually looks like with all the over 50s that get out and play in the Memorial game. These guys are really struggling, but goodness me, have they given their all. But football can be cruel, and in finding a winner, we will find not a loser today, but we will find a team that has to accept defeat.
Well, whatever happens, we have found a match befitting this centenary occasion.
Paul Eiffel has been there, done that. He was always one to put his hand up and take a penalty, and just sharing a few words of wisdom. And right now, technique almost goes out the window. I think right now this is a case of looking players in the eye. Do you want to take a penalty? And the first 5 guys that look you straight back in the eye and say, I'm good to go. Give me that responsibility. It's as much a mental game as it is physical now. So the officials have decided that the penalty shootout will take place to the left of our screens. There are a few fans, notably Melville United, starting to make their way down towards that end of the stadium. I'm not sure they will get behind the goal. In fact, I'm certain they won't be able to, but they're just getting a little closer to the action. A huddle here for the Melville players. They've never won the cup. They've come close. They've lost in 2 previous finals in 2003, 3-1 to Unimount. Aaron Scott was a schoolboy. He was cup-tied. He couldn't play for Melville in that final. He'd played for Hamilton Boys High earlier in the competition. Does he bookend his career with a fairy tale finish in a cup final 20 years later? They also lost in 2019, 3-2 to Napier City Rovers. Here we go. Max Tommy, already a hero. Whatever happens for Max Tommy, he gave his side a lifeline.
And Owen Stokes has stepped up to take the first penalty shot for Christchurch United.
Penalties to decide the cup final. Christchurch to go first. The Irishman Stokes smashes it high into the net. Good penalty. And first up for Melville as Stokes makes his way back to the halfway line. And a replay, Max Tommy went the right way, but a bit of elevation was good enough. And McGovern so 1-0 Christchurch United. Remember, best of 5. And if we're still level, we go to sudden death. McGovern. Oh, over the bar. Over the bar. And that is the risk. That is the risk when fatigue takes over. So early advantage to Christchurch United.
Well, you don't envy these players, do you? It's a big responsibility. It's a hefty load to put your hand up.
Lapsley, the next to step up into the spotlight. It's a little bit like tennis. You get that break of serve, you want to back it up straight away. Lapsley must score here to maintain that advantage for Christchurch. Left-footed Lapsley. And he scores. Very good penalty. Tommy goes the right way again. A rueful look back from Max Tommy, but that was tucked just inside the post.
Liam Hayes, next up for Melville. Must score.
Yeah, you can. Well, they were 2-0 down in the match and came back, but yeah, you don't want to be 2-0 down in a penalty shootout. Funnier things have happened, but I don't know there'd be anyone from Hamilton laughing.
Just psychologically even.
Scott Morris in goal. Can a keeper be a hero, or do the penalties continue to hit the back of the net? Hayes, good penalty, hit with a bit of power. They're on the board.
2-1, Christchurch United's favour.
Looks like one of the substitutes is next for Christchurch in
number 12, Mason Stern.
Mason Stern. So you might argue fresh legs, but the pressure of the situation is enough to make anyone a little leg weary. Stern. Oh, good save.
Saved.
Max Tommy, that is brilliant. He's gone the right way every time, 3 out of 3, but he finally gets a glove on it.
A good bit of glove on it too.
And it's perfectly legal. Remember, a keeper just must have 1 foot on the line at the point of impact. So 1 foot can be advanced, but so long as he is touching the line. Stern receives the pats on the back and the words of encouragement, and it's okay, mate. McLeod.
Big moment for McLeod.
This to level it up after 3 penalties, it would be 2 apiece. Short run up for Wright McLeod, and he sends the keeper the wrong way. That is quality. We are back on level terms. It is 2 apiece in the penalty shootout after 3 penalty kicks each.
Very composed penalty from Ryan McLeod.
Cameron Lindsay steps forward. Decorated career, capped for the All Whites. Has played professionally, including here in New Zealand for the Phoenix. Can he help Christchurch United in the penalty shootout? Is Tommy writing his own script? Lindsay, oh, Tommy again is going the right way and he just doesn't get enough on it. Lindsay scores.
I thought for a moment he did get a glove on that.
He got a piece of it, just couldn't push it around the post. Advantage Christchurch in taking the first penalty. They can put the pressure on.
Jacob England stepping up, another substitute for Melville.
3-2 Christchurch lead, but they have taken one more penalty. So this to level it up. England, oh, and it's a good save. It was at a very good savable height, but Scott Morris had to go the right way. And that means we are in score and you win territory.
The captain, Matt Todd-Smith.
3-2 Christchurch United lead, and this will be enough. If Todd-Smith, the skipper, can accept the responsibility, not only will he score the winning penalty, but he will then have the chance to lift the Chatham Cup for his team, his club. Very proud club, watching back in Canterbury. 6 titles. Can they draw level with Unimount? Todd-Smith scores! Christchurch United win the 100-year Chatham Cup. A penalty shootout on the most dramatic of afternoons and evenings. And Christchurch United write their names into history yet again in the Chatham Cup.
Elation for Christchurch. Heartbreak for Melville. But what a comeback.
Christchurch United celebrate. At times this afternoon, they thought they'd thrown it away. At times, you know, they thought they had it in the bag. They've ridden a roller coaster of emotion. The only emotion right now for these proud men in red is that of disappointment and despair, but they should also be incredibly proud. What a cup final. And they've contributed tremendously, coming back from 2-0 down. But for Christchurch United, it is an incredible, a record-equaling 7th Chatham Cup. They win it on penalties, 4-2, after the two teams were level at 2 apiece at the end of extra time. We'll be back in a moment for the presentations here at North Harbour Stadium.
The fern is a symbolic representation for all New Zealanders and has been reimagined to represent all of football in Aotearoa, New Zealand. A circular shape not only symbolises the round ball used by all those that play the game, but also, and more importantly, represents the strength and infinite connection created by all those that play a part of the game. With each piece of the fern recognising and acknowledging those that make the beautiful game beautiful. The stalk represents our grassroots, our communities, our clubs, our volunteers and our fans. They are the foundation and are at the centre of all we do. The pinna represents our federations across the whole of New Zealand. Our federations guide and protect our clubs and communities, allowing everyone to be heard, to be represented and provide guidance and opportunities at every pathway. One brand identity with regional differentiation. Federations in New Zealand football working together to serve our communities, creating more than a game, creating a sporting whānau where everyone is welcome.
All that is left here at North Harbour Stadium is the handing out of the trophies, the Jack Batty Memorial Trophy for Man of the Match, and of course the Chatham Cup itself, the winners' medals. The officials will be recognised, but Melville will be heartbroken. And just a word for the team from the Waikato: 3 finals, 3 losses, and each one of them has had a share of drama. And there's been plenty here this afternoon. They have contributed mightily to a stunning, stunning game of football. A couple of own goals. Luca Lim was the first, the ball cannoning off the teenagers' shins. And Christchurch United had a deserved lead. It feels like a different season when you look at these pictures. The bright sunshine and a beautiful day here at North Harbour Stadium. And that was 1-0, an own goal. Christchurch United were pressing, they were dominating. And when the second goal came, you wouldn't have put too much money on it being another own goal. And it was from the other fullback, on this occasion, George Brown. So another own goal, defending at the far post, and Christchurch United couldn't believe their luck. And to be fair there to Jago Godden, there was a tap on the shoulder there, knowing the pain that Brown would be feeling. So 2-0 Christchurch United went into half-time, and you would think pretty comfortable. Plenty of smiles, plenty of positive energy. But back came Melville. They really did turn things around, and what a fairy tale there for the young fullback. He'd scored the own goal, but he scores a goal to give them a lifeline, get them back into it. Beautiful left foot shot, cutting back in, and Melville suddenly were flying. What a strike. And then the drama, 98th minute. There was hardly time for another kick. Max Tommy had come forward. The big keeper slams it home, and look at the run back to the halfway line. Good on you, Max Tommy. 2-2, and the match at this stage was headed to extra time. They were scrambling. Christchurch United were holding on, but hold they couldn't anymore. And Melville United could barely believe their luck. I think, though, they'd run out of gas. Both teams had. United, Christchurch in defending, and Melville United in just throwing everything at the second half. And it went to a penalty shootout. And there was drama there. Saves for both keepers. Scott Morris with a crucial save to set up the winning penalty. He dives to his left, chooses the right way, bats it away. And that opened the door for the skipper of Christchurch United, Matt Todd-Smith, to step up. And the last act of a stunning, stunning afternoon and night of football was straight down the middle for the winner from the penalty spot. Well, let's go down now to Sarah Gibbs, who has, I'm sure, a disconsolate Aaron Scott standing by.
Well, I'm here with Aaron Scott, captain of the Melville United side. Commiserations, Aaron, but also congratulations. You must be immensely proud of the effort of your team after 2-0 deficit at halftime, coming back to penalty shootout. How are you feeling right now?
Obviously gutted, but at the same time, the first half of nerves and young players not executing right things that we're after, and then the second half performance where you go, I spoke at half time and said to the boys, like, you just got to have balls and be a bit bold and brave in these things. And unfortunately we couldn't get through in that that period, and then dare I say it, I think they hung on at extra time, 4 pens. And then Lady Luck's on the other side, full credit, and like boys that stepped up. Unfortunately, one missed, one got saved, and didn't get to take the fairy tale fifth. Matt scored to win it, and them's the breaks. But immensely proud, a young team and some good characters that will go on from here. I hope. Obviously, it hurts, but in hindsight, if you told me at the start of the season we'll make the Chatham Cup final, survive relegation comfortably, then I would have been real happy at that. So we've come a long way, but it wasn't to be today.
Yeah, you must be super proud of the young guys. But the young guys, with you senior men in the team, you led from the front so well. Yourself, the goalkeeper, Max Tommy, Eric Panzer, incredible performances. The young players are lucky to play alongside you.
Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate when I was at this age. I remember watching this on TV in 2003 as a schoolboy, having played for school and couldn't play in the final. And some of those characters are in there that still inspire us and keep talking on to us. So I hope the boys listen, and I hope they take things that we say, but at the same time there's a lot of learnings and you lose, and unfortunately I hope this is not the last time for all of them to get back to a stage like this in front of a stand, a good noise and whatnot, and something on it.
Well, let me tell you, that match would have inspired plenty of young boys and girls, so well done. Commiserations. I know you're hurt. Go and be with your team. Well done. Enjoy the end of the season. Perhaps your career, perhaps not.
It is. So thank you very much, and to all those at home, send me a few messages. Thank you very much. So it means a lot.
Thanks, Aaron. I'm here with Matt Todd Smith. Congratulations, an absolute marathon. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, it was definitely a marathon, pretty dead, but I think, those moments of emotion just takes over, so probably on a bit of a high, all the boys are. But yeah, credit to Melville, it was some game. They really came back in the second half strong, so yeah.
Completely different team in the second half. Were you shocked?
Yeah, I think even looking back, despite the win, we'll probably be pretty disappointed with that second half, but like I say, credit to them, they came out fighting and really put us under the pump. So yeah, glad we turned around in the end, but yeah, looking pretty sketchy for a bit there.
And you personally survived the entire match and then finished with the last kick of the game. Great result for you personally.
Yeah, the legs are cramping up and I've just dribbled it in, thankfully. So yeah, but you got to ride your luck sometimes. So yeah, no, happy with that moment. Yeah.
Go and be with your team. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Back to you, Andrew.
So the tale of the two skippers, and congratulations Christchurch United, deserving cup winners in 2023. And yeah, heart goes out to Melville, to Aaron Scott on his retirement. What a stellar career. As we now go down to the presentation on behalf of Sarah Gibbs and the entire team. Been a delight to bring you this coverage of the Chatham Cup final. All that remains is for the presentation, which now will play out on North Harbour Stadium. From Andrew Dewhurst and the team, it's farewell. Enjoy the spoils of victory. Christchurch United.
Member of the HMS Chatham, Jack Batty. And before we do the trophies to start, we'll get the Commodore, Mr. Andrew Brown, to speak on the significance of the 100 years.
O kia ora katoa. Thank you for the privilege to represent the Royal New Zealand Navy and the New Zealand Defence Force here today to assist with the presentation of the Chatham Cup. A cup that 100 years ago, the Sailors and Ships Company of HMS Chatham, who were on station in New Zealand and were patrolling New Zealand waters and calling into New Zealand ports and playing football. And out of their own pockets, they decided to build, or to have built, a replica of the FA Cup and present it to Football New Zealand to be played on an annual basis. It's a great privilege. I say to the players and the officials, what a fantastic match, and I'm sure that game was played in the spirit of the core values of the crew of HMS Chatham, and certainly the core values of your Navy today. Kia ora.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We'd now like to present the match officials with their medals. Johanna's going to present these two: Nick Waldron, Edward Cook, Gareth Sheehan, and Luke Gardner. We'll now call forward our runners-up to be presented with their medals. Worthy finalists, ladies and gentlemen, Melville United.
Yes. Yeah. Leave the trophy for now.
And now, folks, we'll ask Scott Moran to present the Bob Smith Trophy to the runners-up captain. Please come forward, Aaron Scott from Melville United. We're now pleased to present our winning team, Christchurch United, with their medals. And finally, folks, it's my pleasure to welcome the captain, Matt Todd, to step forward to be presented with the Chatham Cup trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, your winners of the Chatham Cup, Christchurch United!
For the champions, stand up, stand up, stand up. For the champions, stand up. For the champions, stand up, stand up, stand up. For the champions, stand up. Stand up for the champions.
Thank you everyone involved in today's game, and another round of applause for our Chatham Cup winners, Christchurch United. Thank you folks, travel safe.
For the champions,